Good morning, Wiserians. So good to see you all. The excitement has been high since yesterday. Like, people have been sending DMs, personal messages on WhatsApp. Like, hey, hi, we are traveling today. We are going to night school in the early morning. So good to have you all here this morning. We are glad and we are so excited to have John Obidi with us today. So, before we bring John Obidi up, tell us what has been your high point and wiser in the chats. Right, just a short sentence. Don't even say my high point, just write HP. You know how we do now. HP Wiser 2021. This. We want to see what has been big for you, what has worked for you, what is working for you, what your maybe your greatest takeaway has been so far. What have you applied yesterday on the group? I think it was yesterday on one of the WhatsApp groups. We saw someone said these are the things she's been able to get done, and we were like, yes, we want to be sure that people are getting value like this. So please tell us, just tell us one. We have many high points, but we want to see one clear high point. We are waving. We are waving. I met John in 2017, I think. Was that 16 or 17? He will confirm when he comes in. And it was at a training I was facilitating. And he came in and said, oh, this person told me about you and we should come for this training. He came with his friend, and in the course of the training, I could see him have so many light bulb moments. He will write. And when we would talk, I'll say, but guy, you're already so advanced. Why do you need this training? And he says, there is no end to learning. No end to learning. The day we stop learning, we start dying. So I need to keep learning. I need to keep going. And there is only the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. I was like, oh wow. So I already saw him in that light of and then he used to organize the teleseminars. What was it called now? It wasn't Head Start Africa yet. It was another name. If you remember the name, let us know. Something teleseminars with John Obidi, the name that it was before he moved to Head Start Africa. Um, so he invited me to speak at the Smart B Camp. Ah, that's it. Smart B Campers. See una there. Smart B Camp, Smart B Camp, Smart Biz Camp, Smart B Camp teleseminars. And I remember that day, it was such a funny experience. You see why I have come to hold on to 5 W's and 1 H. Now, because I had teleseminars, my mind told me it was a television thing. I didn't understand that tele was about channels like telephone, like what do you call it, media waves. So guess what? I got dressed. I was even thinking about going to a professional makeup artist, but somehow I just said, you know what? Let me just do my makeup myself, and got to John's house. Two other friends were there. We gisted. So I was waiting for him to come and say, okay, let's go into the room where we're doing the teleseminars. I've set up the camera and the laptop. Next thing he came, gave me a mic. He said, this is the mic you use. I said, it's not like recorded. He said, no, it's only audio. What? Now you gauge like this. Do makeup join. We had such a good laugh because I didn't know what a teleseminar was, and I didn't ask. I could have just asked John, what is a teleseminar? Tell me about that. I just did. I suppose no now. Let me not come and bring out my leg and show that I don't know what teleseminar is. And I find that many of us, if we're not careful, we're doing this in our lives. We are pretending to know what to do when we are not sure. We are trying to wing it. We're like, let me not Don't be me go move for here. May I just move. Let me just get there. And guess what? Many of us will chop our eyes. You know, you go chop your eye because you get there and you realize you don't know squat, right? I could have just said, John, please, what is a tele-seminar? But look at me, feeling cool. Go and do makeup, wear fine clothes. No, say the thing now, audio. So we don't want to show up in life unprepared with the belief that we know what we are doing. I think that's like the worst kind of foolishness. So the wisdom we're getting from WISER is to make us see clearer, ask questions, dig deeper, get to the root of it so that we don't make assumptions. Else, some of us will get married the way I attended a tele-seminar thinking it was a video recording. You will marry thinking it is this. You go and show up and realize, guy, you get into a business, you get in there and realize, guy, you move to another country and get there, guy, because we didn't ask the questions. Today is not about me, it's about my brother, my friend J.O., who is going to dig deep. One thing about John for me is, honestly, there have been times I've wanted to make certain decisions. I say, well, John, do this. Because he's like your conscience. You know, sometimes I read some of his posts, I'm like, oh my God, John. You know, John, okay, let me go and send that message and tell them I'm not coming. Because the conscience has just prigged me, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes you read his posts and you go, I thought about this, but I could never have written it this way. Yesterday, I went to John's page and I saw what he wrote about watching a movie at the cinema. That has been my mantra. People who come to watch movies with me, don't talk. Sometimes I have to pause to write something, make a decision. But have I ever written it? When I read it, I was like, John. Everybody make some noise for Daddy J.O. Woo! Welcome,
Thank
John.
you.
You here with
Thank
us.
you.
Honoring our invitation.
I've been back here blushing all this time.
We're so blessed to have you here with us. Thank you, John. Thank you for giving us night school in the early morning. I'm just going to go into class right now, okay?
Yeah, I just shared this with my people now, so they should be joining us on YouTube now.
They are already coming. We can see the difference.
Okay.
Normally, we don't have 97 people at 6:08. We can have 97 at 6:20. But I can see John's people. All right, welcome, everybody.
I'm going to post to the group now.
While you're posting to the group, some of us would like to stay on the WISER family, stay with us in the WISER family, because every quarter we'll have a WISER town hall, and we'll make WISER an experience for the year. So if you'd like to be with us, we'll drop the group there so you can give us your details. And by later today, we'll put you in one of our WhatsApp groups and carry on the journey from there. Daddy J.O., we love you. Yeah. See you soon.
Thank you. Please just give me 2 minutes. I just need to I've put it on my Telegram, but for good measure, I just want to put it on the Facebook group so that everyone can catch this. So my people, Joyce's people, our joint people, please bear with me. It's always a pleasure, as always a pleasure to be here with you guys. I'm going to bring the fire in a few short minutes, so just bear with me real quick. You know, to have a bigger family in here.
Love all your ways, love all your flaws, love all your moments when you don't know who you are. Love when you're lost, trying to follow stars. Love with all you got, even on days when loving you is hard, yeah. Love you with all your scars and your heartache. Love you in all those times that you lost your mind. Love you on those I don't know where to start days, even though on days like that it's always hard to find. Hey, love you when you're so, don't ever forget to love you when they don't. Oh, yeah, baby, you should know, never let that love for you go. Cause it's dangerous to let somebody love you more than you love yourself, more than you love. So don't you let nobody love you more than you love yourself. When you go through changes, hope you love you the same way. Love yesterday, every day, love yourself always, yeah. Cause Let it in, let it in. Let well-being in. Let it in, let it in. Let well-being in. Let it in, let it in. Let clarity in. Let it in, let it in. Let clarity in. I can see through my own eyes. With wisdom from within, I let go as I'm letting it in. I am wealthy, I am wise. I can see through my own eyes. With wisdom from within, I let go as I'm letting it in. With wisdom from within, I let go as I'm letting it in. I'm letting it in. Let it in, let it in. Let well-being in. Let it in, let it in. Let well-being in. Let it in, let it in.
Okay, welcome everyone. This is WISER. WISER is the brainchild of Joyce Daniels. In case you're joining for the first time, and it's 31 days of unraveling wisdom for 2022. This is day 24. I am taking day 24, and throughout WISER, we are contemplating deeply the words of King Solomon, and we are using the book of Proverbs. And so today being the 24th day of December, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts from Proverbs 24. For those who are familiar with my work and my posts and my writings, you know that I draw heavily from the wisdom books, the books of Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Job, amongst others. So we're going to be doing Proverbs 24 today. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share my screen and just go through it line by line. There we go. Okay, Joyce, thanks. But I think I'll just share mine so I can scroll as I proceed. So if you look to the bottom there's some sort of invitation to put my screen up. Thank you. Awesome. I'll just zoom in a bit so that it's easier to read. Okay, I think everyone can see it right now. And in case you can't see it well, make sure you get your phone on landscape mode, right? You know what landscape mode is? Take it sideways, horizontally, so you can see this. All right. Proverbs 24, verse 1. Do not envy the wicked. Do not desire their company. For their hearts plot violence, and their lips talk about making trouble. By wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. The wise prevail through great power, and those who have knowledge muster their strength. Surely you need guidance to wage war, and victory is won through many advisors. Let me stop here for now. There's a lot here about wisdom. The first thing here, it says, do not envy the wicked. This is wisdom. Do not desire their company. Now, even though it's a bit heavy on wicked there, we don't have to be 100% fixated on wicked, right? There are wider lessons from just these first two verses. Now, I can see that we have about how many? 146 people on. Cool. So, I mean, the more the merrier, because this lesson I'm about to share cuts across all kinds of people. And I think you should count yourself lucky to be hearing this sort of message in December before we get into the new year. Now, with social media, there's a lot of hunger for people to advance their lives, to advance their careers. And what we hear a lot of times as a shortcut for advancing your career or your position in life is there are things like cliques, mentorship, inner circles, and things like that. And so, okay, and things like that. And so, the question a lot of people are not asking is, what is the character of these circles that you desire to be in? You see, hunger is a very demonic ailment. Hunger is a demonic ailment. It's hunger, poverty, they're demonic. Poverty is not necessarily that you don't have money in your pocket. It manifests as that, but that is not exactly what poverty is. Poverty is a sickness of the brain. It's a scarcity mentality. Is that spirit of Esau, where he was trading off his birthright with his brother Jacob for a pot of porridge. And Jacob said, if I give you this porridge, you are going to give me your birthright too. And Esau said, of what use is my birthright? Can't you see that I am hungry and about to die? Of what use is my birthright? And the Bible says what? That Esau despised his birthright because he was hungry. And so a lot of people too are despising what is the equivalent of their birthright. So you're broke, your career seems slow, things don't look like they're making sense, and so you are in a hurry to join forces with people. There's somewhere, I don't know if Joyce can pull this up for us. There's somewhere in Proverbs where it says, "Do not be in a hurry to stretch out your hand in agreement with someone." Right? Somewhere in Ecclesiastes 2 says there is a time to embrace. There's a time to refrain from embracing. But because you may lack discernment in your moments of hunger, you don't know who to embrace and who to refrain from embracing. And so anywhere you think deliverance can come from, you are quick to call somebody my friend, my brother, my sister, my mentor, not because of principle, not because you share common values, but because you think it's a shortcut to get you out of hunger. And so what this thing is saying is, do not, Proverbs 24 verse 1, do not envy the wicked. I don't want to mention any names, but a lot of you knew who the celebrities were. Was it this year, or last year and this year? All kinds of questionable people with questionable wealth. They were the celebrities, and nobody cared where they got their money from. Baba, help us. Baba, hey, Baba, just one giveaway like this will change my life. And you're such in a hurry. Even when some of these people were arrested by law enforcement and are facing the law, a lot of Nigerians went on social media saying free them, did not do anything wrong. Well, so there we have it now. Do not envy the wicked. You envy because you see they are flashy, but you're not looking through. It said, do not desire their company, for their hearts plot violence, and their lips talk about making trouble. And when it says their hearts plot violence and their lips talk about making trouble, there are consequences to plotting violence. There are consequences to their lips making trouble. So it says, do not envy the wicked. Do not envy the wicked. It's not only the wicked. Do not envy people who have things that you do not have yet. You do not know anybody's background story. Do not envy the wicked, but do not envy anybody, period. All right? Let's go on to verse 3. It says, by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. All right? By wisdom you build a house, and through understanding it is established. There's some place where King Solomon also said that money is a defense. I wish I could pull that up. It says, for money is a defense, and wisdom is a defense also. But the excellency of wisdom is that it gives life to them that have it. All right. So on social media, again, you might have seen things like, oh, if $1 billion, or a meeting with this person, or apprenticeship, and people are just so quick to respond from their place of hunger. First of all, get wisdom. It is the principal thing. By wisdom, a house is built. It didn't say by money a house is built. Money is important, but wisdom gives life. By wisdom, a house is built, and through understanding, it is established. It's not talking about a physical house. All right. By wisdom, anything that is worth enduring, anything that endures, is built by wisdom. If you had $1 billion today and you had no wisdom, that $1 billion can kill you. You can spend that money on easy to access cocaine. You can spend that money to get into circles that will entrap you. There are some situations in life that money will never get you out of. Only wisdom. I'm not saying that money is not important. It is very important. King Solomon himself said it, that money is a defense, and so also wisdom is a defense. But he gave a differentiation in that verse where he said, thank you very much, Patrick, in diff 1. He put that out. It's Ecclesiastes 7:12. Yes. It says, for money is a defense. Yes, we know that. Wisdom is a defense also. We know that. What's now the difference? It says, but the excellency of wisdom is that it gives life to them that have it. Okay, so it says, by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it's established. Anything that is worth keeping, anything that is worth enduring, is built by wisdom and through understanding. King Solomon said somewhere else in Proverbs that a man that is in honor but understandeth not is like the beasts that perish. What does that mean? Man that is in honor, it means that you are set in a high position, you are honored by people, but you lack understanding, you lack wisdom. Some people are so quick, they want fame, they want to be popular on social media. There are a lot of people who are popular on social media, but they lack understanding. And because of that, they are like the beasts that perish. What does it mean to be like the beasts that perish? It means that you are vulnerable to the things that kill regular beasts out there. You are vulnerable to predators. You are vulnerable to flattery. You are vulnerable to emotional trauma. You are vulnerable to all kinds of things that happen when you lack understanding. You are vulnerable to being framed by people who don't have your best interests at heart. You are vulnerable to forging alliances with people you should not be caught with. All right. And so when it says, by wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it's established, it's telling you how exactly to collect the building blocks of your life, whether it's in your finances, whether it's in your work life, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in your friendships, in all aspects of your life. Through wisdom, your house, that storehouse, that house is built, that tower is built, that castle is built. And through understanding, it is established. By understanding, by established, it means it shall remain for a while. You shall establish it for a long time to come. Through knowledge, its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures. It is from what you know that you can fill those rooms with rare and beautiful treasures. Okay, we've heard that knowledge is power. This is what it's talking about. Let's move on. Verses 5 and 6. It says, the wise prevail through great power, and those who have knowledge muster their strength. It says, surely you need guidance to wage war, and victory is won through many advisors. And so this is a great thing that Joyce Daniels is doing, WISER, the WISER series, where it says, surely, I'm going to select it so that you can see it on the screen. It says, surely you need guidance to wage war, and victory is won through many advisors. And this is what we are doing here. We are providing you guidance to wage the war of life. And victory is going to be won through having many advisors. Joyce has brought on the Patrick Nwakogo and some other fantastic people on here, brought me on here. And through many advisors, victory is won. Let me tell you why advice, good advice, is so valued by King Solomon. Back in the days, and even till today, kings valued wise counsel. Okay, and I'm talking to you guys today not as commoners, not as regular people, but as royalty. So when I'm talking to you, I'm going to be using paradigms that apply to royalty. There is a way that royal people think. All right, royal people do not go to war without seeking counsel. Is a poor man that thinks that counsel costs a lot of money. Getting a coach costs a lot of money. Buying a book costs a lot of money. Buying an online course costs a lot of money. Getting Joyce Daniels to coach you costs a lot of money. So you want to go and do it by yourself. The Bible says that what? The toil of a fool wearies him out, for he knoweth not how to enter a city. Check it out. I don't know where it is. I think it's Solomon who said it. That's the kind of thing he likes to say. So anybody who knows where that is in the Bible, should please put it in the comment section, right? It says the toil of a fool wearies him out because he knows not how to enter a city. That's what poor man they do. Because you don't know how to enter a city and you can't pay somebody to coach you, or if it's not about money, you can't approach someone to coach you. You want to do it all by yourself and take all the glory by yourself. Good. Your toil is going to wear you out. You go round and round in circles. You spend 50 years on a 6-month journey because your toil will wear you out because you don't know how to enter a city. And that is why wise counsel is very important. It says the wise prevail through great power, and those who have knowledge muster their strength. You need knowledge. But how do you get this knowledge? It says, surely you need guidance to wage war, and victory is won through many advisors. So 2 things I would ask you: who is your guide? Some would say the Holy Spirit. I'm talking about human beings. Amen. Don't tell me the Holy Spirit. I'm asking about human beings. Who are you getting guidance from? And who are your advisors? There's somewhere in the Bible where King David, the kingdom of Israel, was going through a civil war. David had been overthrown by his son Absalom, and David was in hiding. He ran off, and Absalom was king in the meantime in Israel. And at the time, there was someone who was advising David. His name was Ahithophel. And the Bible says that when Ahithophel spoke and gave counsel, it sounded like it was coming from God. He didn't say he was a prophet. He was not a prophet. He wasn't an oracle or anything, but he was gifted with wise counsel. He was so wise. He was so astute with counsel. People said that when he spoke, just go to the bank with it. It just sounds like it was God that was talking. That was King David's top advisor. But somewhere during the battle, Ahithophel left the camp of David and decamped, went over to his enemy, his son, Absalom. And when David heard that Ahithophel had crossed camps and gone over to advise his enemy against him, he began to cry and he wept. That is how much wise counsel was valued. He cried so much that he prayed that God, please turn the counsel of Ahithophel to foolishness. He didn't say make Ahithophel a foolish person, but make the wise thing that he is saying sound like foolishness to these people so that they will discard it. Because if they take Ahithophel seriously, they are going to wreck me. And that's how it happened. All right. That is how much wise counsel was treasured. And so in your life, in your day-to-day, as kings of your household, as kings in your workplace, wherever you find yourself, that is your identity as a king. And you do not embark on any journey without guidance. You don't embark on any journey without advisors. All right. So who are you getting guidance from, and who are you getting advice from? Who are your advisors? As you move into the new year, I want you guys to write it down. Have it down on paper. Don't just trust your memory. Okay. Confucius, the Chinese philosopher, once said that the tiniest ink is greater than the largest memory. So write it down. This year, who will be my guides? This year, who will be my advisors? What is the price of entry? What is the cost of having these people advise me? All right. Count the cost. It is not necessarily always going to be money. Sometimes it's going to be money, but sometimes it's not going to be money. Sometimes it's just wisdom. Sometimes it's just having a clear conscience. Everyone has their price through which they can admit people. All right. Joyce Daniels has her own. She has her own criteria. I have my own criteria. Whoever else that you value for their wise advice and for their guidance, they have their own. Write down who these people are and figure out how to make these people your advisors, because you cannot win a war without advisors. As a king, you have to call your advisors. You've got to call your ministers. So surely you need guidance to wage war. Don't go it alone. You will lose. And victory is won through many advisors. Even me, I have my advisors. I have people who give me guidance. Joyce Daniels is one of my advisors. Joyce Daniels gives me guidance. I have a lot of them too. Okay, you have no reason not to have this going into the new year. Verse 7. I love this one. It says, "Wisdom is too high for fools. In the assembly at the gates, they must not open their mouth." I love this verse so much. I feel like it's the dumbest people on social media that are the loudest and the boldest, and it is those who have a lot of wisdom and knowledge and experience that are the most timid. But that should not be so. All right, that should not be so. If you have a message of right thinking, of understanding, of wisdom, I think that your voice should be louder. All right. In the assembly at the gate, they must not open their mouth. But then again, they will still open their mouth because we have what? Freedom of speech. All right. But still, what I will take away from this is that, if you've heard me talk about on night school, be very careful. You don't, even if you see people saying all sorts of things on social media, you don't go into their comment section to banter them. All right. You let it be. If you have a superior message, post it on your own social media profiles and pay the cost of getting attention on those posts. Why? Wisdom is too high for fools. They will not understand it. They will trample upon it. And the problem with exposing your wisdom to fools, thinking you can convert a fool to wisdom. Solomon talked about how a fool learns. A fool learns through what? A cane. Right? They don't hear through understanding. It's through the rod a fool learns. All right. So don't think that is through your arguments on social media that a fool becomes wise. No, they will learn through hardship, through pain. Okay. Take your message to those that are ready and are willing to accept it, because wisdom is too high for fools. Okay. Wisdom is too high for fools. Let's move on. Verse 8 and 9. Whoever plots evil will be known as a schemer. The schemes of folly are sin, and people detest a mocker. Let me concentrate on this one. People detest a mocker. You see, all of these things, I don't know whether King Solomon knew that social media was going to exist, because it is more viral these days to be a mocker. All right. This person did this to this person. Scandalous news. You are the first to share it to your story. Don't you dare do that in this new year. Leave that childish behavior in 2020, 2021. Don't carry into the new year. People detest a mocker. Somebody breaks up with this person, you're posting to your story. Are you okay? Are you possessed? Did they swear for you? We are over 200 people here. So I know that there's somebody here who is guilty of this thing. Why? What's going on with you? Are you that common? Are you a commoner? Right? Is that what a king or royalty would do? Would you amplify such news? You don't do that. People detest a mocker. You see, for some of you, the reason why you have not gone to your next level is that you are still very eager to be everybody's friend. And so you are a friend to everybody, but a leader to no one. You will never be promoted because of your similarities to everyone, only for your difference. Only for your difference. And so because everybody around you, they're all mocking, hey, so what happened? Hey, see that what happened? You want to feel among. Yes, you'll be everybody's guy, everybody's girl, but nobody's leader, because you can't stand out. You have no authority. You have no conviction. You can't speak a word and everybody be quiet. Like, I feel bad what I just did. No. All right. People detest a mocker. Moving on. Verse 10. If you falter in a time of trouble, how small is your strength? I love this particular one because it did not even put any emphasis on the trouble. It talks about your what? Your capacity. Okay, your capacity. If you falter in a time of trouble, how small is your strength? Okay, this is a time that everyone will have to build their strength. Okay, so when the Bible, I think in Isaiah or Jeremiah, it says, they that wait upon the Lord, they shall renew their strength. They shall mount upon wings as eagles. They shall run and never faint. Okay, how small is your strength if you falter in a time of trouble? Somewhere else, I think in Proverbs also says that as iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. Okay, as iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. Okay, so a way to build your strength is by continually having people on the same journey, continually having destiny partners. Things like this in an initiative like WISER is very powerful. And I don't know why WISER is only for 31 days. I wish that this communion could happen every morning, because our people are really hungry and thirsty for this kind of knowledge. Imagine starting up your day with this kind of message every single morning. Imagine the kind of person you will be in 1 month, in 3 months, in 6 months. All right. No, put it in the comments. I want you guys to petition, to start a petition and start carrying placards for Joyce to not let it just end in 31 days. All right. If you could start your day like this every morning, How different would your life be 6 months from now? Let me see it in the comments. All right. How different would your life be? How different would your life be in 6 months? All right. Put it in the comments. Let Joyce see it so that she'll be feeling it like this. And she'll be like, okay, we can't just end this in 31 days. Because today is day 24. This is day 24. All right. It's going to end in 7 days. We started since 1st of December, and we have just this is day 24. We have just 7 days left. So it's going to end very soon. But imagine if from January to December, every morning you could start your day like this. All right, with things that edify you and build you up and sharpen you. Wouldn't you love it? All right. So people are saying radical. So I'm sure Joyce is looking at the comments now, and Joyce can see. All right. Nancy says it's 365 days of WISER now. Interesting. Anyway, the reason I said that was because I was trying to correlate verse 10 that says, if you falter in a time of trouble, how small is your strength? But how do you build your strength? There are multiple ways of building your strength. All right. You've got to be reading things that edify you, things that build your spirit. But very importantly, you got to have a community of people that you can lean on in those times and that can build your strength whenever you are weak. Okay. As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens the countenance of his friend. Okay. Verse 11 says, rescue those being led away to death. Hold back those staggering towards slaughter. That is what we are doing here. Rescue those being led away to death. Sometimes my words may be harsh. Sometimes they may seem a bit abrasive, but it's with good intent. We're trying to rescue those being led away to death. You don't even know. Hold back those that are staggering towards slaughter. Sometimes people are drunk. Sometimes their eye no clear momentarily, and they need somebody whose eyes are clearer in that time to hold them back. No, my sister, my brother, you are staggering towards slaughter, okay? And this is a responsibility to everybody here. The knowledge and the wisdom that you have is not for yourself alone. Verse 11 tells you why you are so wise. Verse 11 tells you why you are so knowledgeable. Verse 11 tells you why you have that gift of discernment. It is for the purpose of rescuing those that are being led away to death. It is for the purpose so that you can hold back those who are staggering toward slaughter. That is why you have that gift. Verse 12 says, if you say, but we knew nothing about this, does not he who weighs the heart perceive it? Does not he who guards your life know it? Will he not repay everyone according to what they have done? You see what that means? You can't say, oh, but we did not know that people were so dumb. We don't know that people did not know how to use social media. We don't know that people did not have sense. We don't know that people are being attracted to role models that have no wisdom, that have no discernment. We did not know. We knew nothing about this. King Solomon says, but does God not know your inner mind? Does he not know it? Will he not repay everyone? It says here that if you know, all right, if you hold back from this mandate of rescuing those being led away to death, all right, if you hold back and say, oh, but I knew nothing, does God not know it? Will he not repay everyone according to what they have done? So this here is a grand responsibility. It's not only for you to lean on people, but also become that pillar that other people can also lean on. I know that there is a price to coming forward and to branding yourself as a person of, there is a price, but here is the mandate, and it's a cross that everyone has to carry. Verse 13 says, eat honey, my son, for it is good. Honey from the comb is sweet to your taste. Know also that wisdom is like honey for you. If you find it, there is a future hope for you. Now, what is honey? And your hope shall not be cut off. What is honey? Multiple things, man. Honey has multiple things. Honey can be used to treat burns. Honey it has antibacterial properties. I think it's like also an antioxidant. It's also food, and it's very exotic. So it says, eat honey, my son, for it is good. Okay, it's a healthy substitute for sugar. Honey from the comb is sweet to your taste. And just the way it's sweet to your taste, wisdom is like honey for you. All right. And so when you have wisdom, or when you see wisdom, consume it. It is like honey. But guess what, my people? When you also have wisdom and you speak words of wisdom to people, it will be like honey to their taste also. And just like people value things that are sweet, you are going to be rewarded. Wisdom is heavily rewarded in money, in connections, in many, many benefits. Okay. Know also that wisdom is like honey for you. If you find it, there is a future hope for you, and your hope will not be cut off. Do not lurk, verse 15, do not lurk like a thief near the house of the righteous. Do not plunder their dwelling place. For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again, but the wicked stumble when calamity strikes. Okay, look here, verse 16 says, for though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. Why would the righteous fall 7 times and rise again? Okay, earlier on, he said something through wisdom. Okay, I said that was like in verse 1 or 2. Let me scroll right back up. Verse 3, it says, by wisdom a house is built, through understanding it is established. Wisdom is what built your house. Wisdom, understanding is what established it. Even though you fall, as long as you have the principal thing, wisdom, you will always be able to rebuild. Okay, and that's why it says here that though a righteous person, where is it at? Though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. But the wicked stumble when calamity strikes. Why do the wicked stumble? Because generally, wicked people are not wise. Let's see verse 17. All right. Do not gloat when your enemy falls. When they stumble, do not let your heart rejoice. Or the Lord will see and disapprove and turn his wrath away from them. You know, one thing on my Facebook group that has always been a culture is that whenever something bad happens to somebody that even we do not approve of, you do not make a post about that person and say 7 lessons you can learn from the downfall of X, Y, Z. Never. Don't ever do that. Go and look for a more worthy way to teach the same lesson. Don't gloat when your enemy falls. Hey, I knew it. Shade were doing anyhow since. Shade wanted to roll with the big boys. You want to bam bam. You want to roll with the big boys, right? Now you don't see how the thing go. All right, you don't do that. Do not gloat when your enemy falls. when they see how the thing go, do not let your heart rejoice. I don't know where I'm getting all these slangs from. Too much Instagram. All right, or the Lord will see and disapprove and turn his wrath away from them. Okay. Verse 19, do not fret because of evildoers or be envious of the wicked. We talked about envy earlier on. Do not fret because of evildoers. Don't envy the wicked. No, for the evildoer has no future hope, and the lamp of the wicked will be snuffed out. Decisions have consequences. Fear the Lord and the King, my son. Give me a sec. Yeah. Fear the Lord and the King, my son, and do not join with rebellious officials, for those two will send sudden destruction on them, and who knows what calamities they can bring. Fear the Lord and fear the King. Fear the Lord and fear the King. He's talking about honor. You got to have honor for authority, respect for authority. Not like people that were raised in the jungle and in the bush that don't have any respect for authority. They don't know how to address people. You know, when you walk into Mike Murdoch said something once that every environment has a king. Every environment has a king, and your success in life will be predicated on the kings that you choose to honor. If you don't know how to identify the king in every environment you step into, your life is going to be very, very tough. Will you be successful? Perhaps, eventually, maybe at age 50, you'll finally figure it out. But unless you want a 40-day journey to become a 40-year journey, you've got to be wise and learn to identify the king in every environment and pay them that honor. We live in a time where there's freedom of speech, freedom of expression, that people have turned into foolishness of speech and foolishness of expression. And so where you come into the presence of a king or of a kingmaker or of someone who has the power to influence your destiny for the better, you don't even know how to conduct yourself. The person you call sir, you are calling them bro. Tani bro, eh? Who is your bro? Eh? Because you don't have manners. I know your parents taught you manners, because Africans, our parents really did the best they could. At least if for anything, they taught us how to be respectful. Sir, ma, good morning, good afternoon. Don't say hi. Hi, auntie. You are who is hi? Because you're watching CNN now. You're watching plenty of Igbo film. You are not doing hi. You are who is hi. All right? Every environment have a king. Has. Every environment has a king. And every palace has a protocol. There's something called palace protocol. In every palace you come to, there is a way you act. There is this. There's a time that I think it was during the presidency of George Bush Jr., the junior George Bush. He was having a meeting with some pastors, and in the White House. And so they came in, and he was having a conversation with them and seeking their counsel. And one of the pastors wanted to write something for the president. And so he reached into his pockets to bring out his pen. And once he did that, Secret Service rushed to him. And he was shocked, like, what? He said, when you are with the president, you do not reach into your pocket. But he didn't know. And he said, okay, well, I just wanted to get my pen. He said, it's okay. If you need a pen, we will provide one for you. But when you are with the president, you do not reach into your pocket. We could be a weapon, better safe than sorry. All right. So every palace has protocol. You don't just come from your streets. Hey, any bro, who is your what? You'll be kicked out. A man that is in honor but understandeth not, you not get sense. It's like the beasts that perish. All right. Every environment has a king, and every palace has protocol. And the speed at which you're able to succeed, because my hope for everybody is that you succeed young. You don't have to wait until you are old. My hope for everybody is that you get it right while you are young, because that's when life is sweeter. All right, when you hit the peak of your career, when you hit the pinnacle of success while you are young, life is sweet. Oh, I'm telling you, I can tell you that for free. Life is sweet. Okay, I'm so glad I did not wait to my 40s or 50s and 60s before I started chasing what I'm chasing now. Life is sweet when you get it young. I'm telling you. Okay, so you've got to understand who to honor. All right, and I need you to write down. Earlier on, I told you to write down who your guides are going to be for the new year, and I told you to write down who your advisors are going to be for the new year. They don't have to be celebrities or influencers. They can be your mates. Some around you, can identify people around you, maybe even your classmates or at your work, but people around that you just know they have very acute reasoning skills. All right, they could people who are really high achieving peers. They could be those people. Okay, now that's on one hand. Write down your guides, your advisors on one hand, but this one too, I want you to write down people in your life that you are going to honor. Do not trust it to memory. Write down people in your life that you have chosen to honor. And I'm going to explain that. One thing that I started doing, though I learned this pretty late, was that whenever someone gives me a gift, I have a journal where I write down their name, the date, and what exactly I was given. Because I receive a lot of gifts. Catch this, please. I receive a lot of gifts because of the work that I do, especially when I was physically in Nigeria. You go to an event and people are flooding you with gifts and stuff that you don't even remember. And whenever I receive something from somebody, I always tell the person, please write your name and your phone number on a piece of paper and put it inside the gift. So that when I get home and I'm going through it, I will know who gave me what. And I don't want to trust this to memory. I don't want to treat you like someone who never gave me anything. The next time that I see you, I want to accord you that honor. All right. So I always tell them, some people, they give me all kinds of gifts, perfumes, books, clothes. I always tell them, please write your name and your phone number and put it inside so I'll know who gave me what. When I get back home, I enter it into my journal. The dates, where I was, I try to make sure I write down as much as I can that describes that situation, so that I can remember as best as I can later on when I'm coming back to it. I write the person's name, write the person's number, and I start trying to figure out how to honor these people. All right. So write down who you are going to honor. I'm just giving an example, but what I mean, because I said there are certain kings that you have to honor. All right, you have to show honor to certain people. All right, so write out who those people are and how you intend to honor those people. There are people in my life, no matter how busy I am, I can never say no to them. Right, I have chosen to honor those people. I can drop my schedule at a moment's notice. I am rushing to volunteer my services and my time and my experience to whatever causes that they are committed to. Who you choose to honor will determine how far you go in life. So write down a list of the people that you intend to honor. Okay. So again, we'll go back to verse 21. It says, "Fear the Lord and the King, my son, and do not join with rebellious officials." Do not join people who are so rebellious, people who don't have any respect for authority. All right, people who are always so quick to throw arrows at people in authority. Like there was a time it was so it was so fashionable to talk down on pastors. Don't join with those people. It doesn't mean that you agree with everything a pastor says, but before you open your mouth to say something about a pastor, make sure it is absolutely necessary. And most of the time, you'll realize that it's not really necessary. All right. But it's not just about pastors, but people who are kings in their industries, in their fields. It's often not necessary to do that. All right. But apart from the defense, go on offense and find people that you are going to honor. Let me tell you something about kings. Kings never want to be in anybody's debt. All right. Remember, I told you guys I'm going to address you as kings, not as commoners. So let me tell you what kings do. Kings never want to owe anybody. They never want to be in anyone's debt. If you read the book of Esther, it says that the king Xerxes, or what was his name? I think he had a longer name. The king of Persia, he could not sleep one night, and so he called his servants to read to him. And so they began to read him the records of the palace. And while they were reading it to him, it was said there, it was recorded there, that a man named Mordecai had uncovered a plot to assassinate the king, thereby saving the king's life. And the king never knew, but it was recorded there. When the king heard it, he was like, what? Who? Mordecai? And he asked, was anything given to him? Was he rewarded? They said, no. What? Go and do something for him. Mordecai did not come to the king and say, king, go see you. That yes, what I did for you. No. The king himself took that initiative. And note that this was a pagan king that did not even serve God, your kind of God. It's just the way of kings. There are many people who say that they are Christians, but their hearts are hardened as stone. I remember one time I was posting on my Facebook group about why restitution is important. When you hurt somebody, you don't just say sorry. No, you figure out a way to make it right. When you hurt somebody, it's not just an apology. You figure out restitution. How can I repay from where something was taken away from you? And somebody said, no, that restitution is not biblical. That's Old Testament. That we should be guided by the Holy Spirit. I said, you see, people, thank God you don't have a congregation because that's dangerous. You don't have to be Christian to believe in restitution. You don't have a Christian to know how to do the right thing. Even a pagan king knew that he could not be in Mordecai's debt. Did he ask what was the color of Mordecai's skin or whether Mordecai went to his church? He said, Mordecai did this for me and nothing was done for him. Please go and give him a gift. Honor him back. All right. And so that principle of honor is a thing of kings. And so write down who you intend to honor in this new year. Don't wait for them to come to you. You go to them. Further sayings of the wise. Verse 23. These also are sayings of the wise. To show partiality in judging is not good. Whoever says to the guilty, you are innocent, will be cursed by peoples and denounced by nations or more. Solomon is harsher. These are very hard sayings. So to show partiality in judging is not good. Whoever says to the guilty, you are innocent, will be cursed by peoples and denounced by nations. I think this is self-explanatory. We live in a time what we call a post-truth world, where things are upside down. What is right is wrong, and what is wrong is right. And so you need to have sharp discernment so that you don't show any partiality in judging. Whoever says to the guilty, you are innocent, will be cursed by peoples and denounced by nations. 25. But it will go well with those who convict the guilty, and rich blessing will come on them. 26. An honest answer is like a kiss on the lips. Yeah, King Solomon knows what that is like, I guess. An honest answer is like, man, the metaphors here are heavy. But I like it. I'm with it. An honest answer is like I can't get over this verse, man. Why a kiss on the lips, though? That's interesting. Food for thought. Moving on. Verse 27. Put your outdoor work in order and get your fields ready. And after that, build your house. Okay? Work. Very important. Work. You people like cruise too much. You people are laughing. I'm sure, some of you, I'm sure you may have been feeling sleepy since. So when I mention kiss, everybody eye open. You see your life. You see your life. I can see all of you in the comments there. Oh yeah, look at the other parts now. Put your outdoor work in order and get your fields ready. After that, build your house. Do not testify against your neighbor without cause. Would you use your lips to mislead? This one, now gossip. Don't join people to gossip. It's not this verse 28 is not directly about gossip, but I want to just correlate this to gossip. Okay, because one thing about gossip is that people want what they are saying to be valued, and so they would tend to stretch the truth or spin falsehoods entirely. Desist from doing that. Do not testify against your neighbor without cause. Do not use your lips to mislead people. Do not say, I will do to them as they have done to me. I'll pay them back for what they did. You see, this verse 29 is very interesting because people like to say that an eye for an eye was Old Testament. But you see, this is also Old Testament. And it says, do not say, I'll do to them as they have done to me. So forgive was never solely a New Testament thing. Okay, Solomon said it here, don't say I'll do to them as they have done to me. I'll pay them back for what they did. Why is this very important? Jesus said somewhere in the New Testament, he said, it is not what enters a man, it's not what goes into a man that defiles him, is what goes out. Is it a man or his mouth? It's not what goes into a person that defiles him, but is what goes out of him. All right. That is referring to your words. You didn't say words there, but that was a metaphor. It's not what goes into you that defiles you, it's what comes out of you. Okay, so that is why it's very important. You do not testify against your neighbor. You don't slander. You don't, because what you put out of your mouth is what defiles you. All right, you don't say because they slandered me, I'll slander them back. No, whatever you are doing back, you are defiling yourself with those words. Okay, so that's what this one here means. Okay, verse 30 is talking about laziness. I went past the field of a sluggard. I went past the vineyard of someone who has no sense. Solomon, no. Hey, Solomon said someone who has no sense. And I thought my words were hard. I didn't know that Solomon too. Said I went past the vineyard of someone who has no sense. Kai. I said I went through the social media pages of someone who has no sense. I went through the Instagram of someone who has no sense. Someone has said it too. Said I went past the field of a sluggard, past the vineyard of someone who has no sense. Thorns had come up everywhere. The ground was covered with weeds, and the stone wall was in ruins. I applied my heart to what I observed and learned a lesson from what I saw. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man. I think King James Version says like an armed bandit. King James was harder. He said like an armed bandit. Okay, so a little sleep, a little slumber. It says what? I went through the field of a sluggard. A sluggard is a lazy person. So you see, in 2022, I sent out an email to my list yesterday, and on the group I said that 2022 is a year for speed. It's a year for speed. In 2022, there's going to be a rise of self-made public figures, but it's only going to belong to people who are willing to take it and work. All right. Being a public figure, being someone who is influential, especially for their wisdom, not for acting or singing, but for wisdom, you have to be diligent. You see, Joyce has been doing WISER for 31 days straight, 6 a.m. every morning for 31 days. How many of you can do that? And yet you want to blow. All right, it's going to take work. I went past the field of a sluggard, past the vineyard of a man, past the farmland of someone who has no sense. Thorns had come up. That is what happens when you are lazy and you're not weeding the field. Okay, thorns had come up. You need to be diligent. And this diligence is not only as regards work, it's as regarding your mind. You don't want thorns to come up everywhere. All right. When we're children, you remember that song we used to sing? Read your Bible, pray every day, pray every day. Okay. Read your Bible, pray every day if you want to grow. Okay. There are things you do every day. Those rituals you do every day, day and night. Joshua 1:8. What does it say? This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate on it where? When? Day and night. Day and night. Day and night. It's got to be consistent. That thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein, and thereafter thou shalt make your way prosperous and have good success. But you've got to do those things day and night. Day and night. Consistency. Every single day. Do not be like the sluggard that will read one book today and the next time they pick it up is like in 3 months. But tell you, how many of you have read Think and Grow Rich? Many hands up. Okay, how many of you have finished reading Think and Grow Rich? The hands will come down. All right. So make sure you put certain things into your routine. Write these things down. Also, I want you guys to write down the routines that you will commit to for the new year. Many people have broken their New Year resolutions. They've broken their resolve, things that they wanted to do, and that's because you did not put it down. You just assume that you will remember. But let me tell you, the human being will naturally take the path of least resistance. So you've got to write it down and commit yourself. I've told you guys to write down 3 things: who you choose to honor, who are going to be your guides, who are going to be your advisors. All right. And I'm telling you to write this one down here. Number 4, write down the routine that you are committing to for self-growth in all areas of your life. Okay. So you do not be like the sluggard. It has to be a routine. A routine is something you do every day, consistently, come rain, come shine. All right. If you want to be like Joyce and you want to say, I'll be going live every single morning so that weeds will not come up and diminish my skill of public speaking, whatever you've got to do, do it. Okay. Thorns had come up everywhere and the ground was covered with weeds and the stone wall was in ruins because they were not maintaining it. You've got to maintain your mind, maintain your skills, maintain your relationships. All right. I applied my heart to what I observed and I learned a lesson from what I saw. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man. Poverty is not only money. You can have poverty of the mind, poverty or in relationships, poverty in other areas of your life. How many of you are good at speaking, but once in a while you're having a conversation with someone and you're trying to say something and you're like, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. I don't know how to say. I don't know. That is poverty of the mind. It shows that you have not read a book in a while, because someone who reads consistently and feeds your mind never lacks words. Never lacks words. When Joyce sent me the outline for this session and said, I'm going to need you to read through Proverbs 24 and teach from it, I had no problem because I read Proverbs every single day. I had no problems whatsoever. Wake me up from sleep and say, John, teach us from Proverbs, any chapter in Proverbs. No problem. I will not prepare nothing. I'll come and give you a full course meal because I do this every day. It's my routine. Okay? So I will never be at a point where I'm lacking words. I'm thinking, how do I? If that ever happens, just know that this guy, you've started slacking. You don't play too much. You don't follow bad gang. You don't bam bam. All right. So don't let poverty come upon you like a thief and scarcity like an armed man. I didn't know that we won't come to the end of this Proverbs chapter 24. I just was enjoying it so much, and I was wishing that it could just go on and on and on and on, because honestly, I never get tired of talking about wisdom or reading about wisdom, especially when it comes to applying the lessons of Proverbs, the words of King Solomon, and other fantastic great writers of Bible times to our daily life. It's always a pleasure. I hope that someone here has learned something. I hope that you have received strength for today, wisdom for your week and your weekend and for your new year. And I'm not the only one who was on WISER. Joyce has had some fantastic speakers who have taken different chapters in the book of Proverbs. So I would encourage you to go and get the replays, whatever system Joyce has for rolling out the replays. Make sure you join the WISER community. So the this WISER is not just a program, it's also a community. And Joyce is going to come on screen and tell you exactly what that entails and how to join that community. And I'm sure she'll also roll out some means of getting the replays across to you. Make sure that you listen to the replays over and over again. Remember, this book of the law shall not depart out of thine mouth. You shall meditate on it when? Day and night. It's not just a once in a while thing. It's not just a WISER event thing. Bake this into your daily rituals. And also, like I said before, do not forget the power of community. Always have gatherings like this where iron sharpens iron. King Solomon said, as iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. That community of us coming together to sharpen each other. Sometimes you will forget. Sometimes even I myself, I need sharpening. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I cannot lean on my own understanding alone. I have to just sit back and listen to somebody else speak, and I'll be like, yes, and I'm rekindled again. Everyone needs that, so do not forsake that. Joyce will tell you how to join WISER Nation and how to also catch up with the remaining 7 days in WISER, and also whatever fantastic plans Joyce has for the new year. I've seen for some people have already signed petitions that WISER cannot just end in 31 days. So I'll leave that up to our matriarch.
John, John, thank you so much. I've been taking notes, taking decisions. I mean, about honoring the people who have been a blessing to me. That was like, wow. And I started thinking, like, it's true. This person actually made sure I got this. And I have never gone back to honor them. I said thank you, yes, but I haven't honored them. So thank you. That's one. The other one about my daily routine. A friend of mine asked me some weeks ago, maybe about 2 months ago, Joyce, what are the 4 things you do every single day? It took me almost 10 seconds to respond because I was like, I hadn't thought about it in that sequence. Yes, there are things I do every day, but I hadn't been intentional to record that these are the things I actually do every day. So I'm taking those 2 amongst others. In fact, I've sent 2 messages to people already saying, let me just say hi so that the conversation will continue later. Because I want to honor them and more. So I'm not going to repeat everything you've said. WISER, we had already talked about a quarterly town hall, but now, John, you see one of the things I love about you, you stretch me, John.
Thank you.
We cannot commit to WISER every day, sitting here right now until we figure out how we'll make it work. But we're going to make it much, much more frequent than every quarter. We'll find a way to make it happen because, like you said, it is for the rescuing of people. So I wrote that down. Joyce, your gifts, your talents, your time, your energy. I have energy. That one I know I get power.
I give you that one.
It's for the rescuing of people. So yes, we'll find a way to make it more frequent so that people can be rescued from foolishness, including myself. Because every time we come here, we talk about it. It's teaching us, right?
Yes.
There were some questions I was going to ask you privately, but now I'm thinking, should I just ask you in front of everybody? Like 1 or 2 questions. Maybe we'll get some wisdom. So, John, I need your permission to do that. Someone asked if they could ask questions. Kingsley Ine, only because of how you have been such a blessing to my life, Kingsley Ine. I will honor you today by asking you any question you have for John. Bring it. I know that John will answer because of me. Kingsley may ask your question. I've not called any other person's name, only Kingsley. So, yes, thank you for reminding me, Auntie Chinyere. We had said we'll ask John. So Patrick was here the other day, and he talked about trading, buying stock and shares on the New York Stock Exchange. And he had said, you have to have a US address and a US bank account. And I said, I know John did something with Delaware, some state one time. There was something you got us. Is it Stripe? You got us to register. I said, John might have a solution because people were asking, how can we now buy shares on the New York Stock Exchange without being in the abroad? Is there a way? Let's ask John. So that's question number 1.
Yes, there is a way. But you see, the method I shared, and I think that thing I shared was a couple of years ago.
3 years ago or so. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a while.
So that method is outdated and was not really a very good option eventually.
Okay.
Because it had, tax ramifications, but it was
Okay.
all we had at the time. But
Yes.
there are new and better ways of doing it. So that method was using Stripe, but Stripe requires you to register as something called a C Corp.
Okay.
C Corp companies are generally those who are looking to raise capital with venture capitalists in the US. So it's not a thing to register just because you want to have a US presence, because it's going to bite you back when it's time to pay taxes.
When
They
it's
don't play
time
with
to pay
taxes.
taxes.
Yes. So
Okay.
there are better ways of doing it now. That method cost about $500 to do with Stripe Atlas, but requires some approvals and a lot of things. But today, with that same $500 or maybe $600, you can register your US based business without leaving Nigeria, wherever you are based. All right. So
Okay.
right now, I have a US registered business. I have a US bank account. I have Stripe. I have PayPal. I can do anything someone in the US can do. I have my EIN. That is your employee identification number. So I can do anything a US residents can do regarding business. Then if once you have your US bank account and your business registered, you can open a TransferWise account. Now, why TransferWise is so important is that when you open a TransferWise account, TransferWise gives you a Canadian bank account, a Belgian bank account, a UK bank account. So you have
What did you call the name?
TransferWise, but though they branded
TransferWise.
TransferWise, now called simply Wise.
Simply Wise or just
Just
Wise?
Wise.
Wise.
It was
We are
TransferWise
wiser.
before. Yes, Wiser.
We are wiser.
So it was called TransferWise before, but it's now just called Wise. So
Okay.
when you enter, but Wise doesn't accept Nigerians anymore.
Okay.
I think, yeah. But if you get a US bank, if you get a US business, you are seen as an American. That's what I'm trying to say now. So I couldn't use Wise until I got that done. So I could now go to Wise, use my US business details. Because once you register a US business, you have a US address, a US phone number. Everything is, US. So you can take those details, go to Wise, register as an American entity, and they'll give you all those
let
bank
me
accounts.
slow you down a little bit.
Okay.
Where do we start? Where is that link to start to register to have your US business and get all this?
Okay, awesome. So I'm not the one who does it.
Now you don't have to give it to us here. You
Okay.
can send me something and I will share with the community.
All right, cool.
So that we don't.
Okay, so I'll share with you, but it's very easy. All you have to do is pay to the company that does it, that did mine for me. It's I think just about $500. That's all you pay, and they'll handle everything. You send them some things like not much. You just fill a form and they'll handle everything for you. You can get everything done in about 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
So
and why I chose this company also is that they do tax advisory. So they tell you about how to register it in a way that you don't incur any tax liabilities and so on and so forth.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much, Basifo.
Sorry. And one more thing is that with my US bank account, comes with a virtual credit card and a physical credit card that I can use at ATMs anywhere in the world. So that truly makes you a global citizen. You can buy things online. You can, it's just fantastic. So with that, you can make money on ClickBank. You can have a proper PayPal account that receives money. I mean, it just helps you. If you want to move money from that account to your Nigerian bank account with a wire transfer, everything is online banking. You have an app for your online banking connects to your bank. You can also use your laptop, connect your online bank, transfer money anywhere in the world without stepping foot in the US. Fantastic.
Wow, it is fantastic. We will get the details. And not only will we get the details, John, we will do it. Look, if you will not do it, don't even just so that when we are done, we will say done, registered, finished, done. And I will
Mm.
send to John and say, see these 20 people, they have become global citizens in every true sense of the
Yes.
word.
Yes.
So Kingsley's question says, now, Kingsley, you're having a moment with John. I want to fully go into tech as it's the future, and I want to go in as a rookie. Now, I already have a question about this question. Please, your advice as one that is a tech enthusiast and has stayed on it and I want to stay on it for the next decade. Please advise me. What's the
Okay.
direction? Tech.
Okay. So I've been reading about predictions for the next decade. And AI is going to be really huge. As a matter of fact, AI is actually huge right now, just not in Nigeria. If you're going to tech, I want you to remove yourself from Nigeria mentally, or that is going to hold you back. If you want to move where the world is moving, because I know what this is like. You will tend to look for solutions based on how acceptable it is in your environment, but that will set you back by global standards. All right. So there are websites you can go to see where the world is going. I follow World Economic Forum on Instagram. All right. I don't miss their content. You know, if they could do see first on Instagram, I'll probably do that. So there's some handles like that that I also follow to know what's happening in the fields of virtual reality, AI, and what's happening, what's hot, where are the jobs, where are the skills of the future there. Where can you learn these things? If there's any way you can get some sort of online degree or certification on any of these future tech directions, I would love for you to do that. Get something in AI. The world is going to AI. I read something. Wait, let me pull this up. Um, um, this is predictions by a research organization in the US called Forrester Research. It was in their predictions for 2022. Hold on, let me find it. Okay, so it says that, and again, also try to be reading all these research articles that come out. Okay, these things you'll never see them on the news. You will never see them on the news. You have to go and dig them up, and a lot of them are free. All these futurist organizations, they hold webinars, free webinars that they never advertise. If you know, you know, you know. But anyway, one of them is called Forrester. One of the organizations is called Forrester, and they said global spending on order management software will grow to over $1 billion in 2022, on its way to $1.5 billion in 2024. So is for you to now ask, what is order management software? I can bet that very few of you on this broadcast have ever heard of the term order management software before. Yet they are projecting that spending on such software will grow to over $1 billion. That's why I keep saying, if you are going to be in tech, don't limit yourself to what's available in your direct environment. You will lose out. Okay. The internet has given us a telescope to view the moon from your bedroom. All right. So this is telling us where the world is going. All right. They said something else. Let me see. There's something else they said. Yes. Now, see something crazy I saw. It says creative AI becomes a focus for innovators. What in the world is creative AI? Now, they said that creative AI systems will win dozens of patents in 2022. This doesn't make sense. So let me expatiate. It says creativity was once thought to be the sole provenance of humans. But in 2021, this very year, South Africa granted the first patent to a creative AI system. Do you know what that means? It's human beings that used to file for patents normally, but South Africa became the first to grant a patent to an AI system. An robot filed for a patent. The
And
word
got
became
it.
flesh. It says while the US and the EU rejected the same patent application on the grounds that only humans can receive patents, this seminal step towards the legal recognition and protection of products will encourage further innovation in creative AI. As a result, 2022 will see dozens of patents granted to creative machines. So machines will be able to file for patents and own patents. So these are the things that are coming out now. I don't know. I don't know all these things natively. These are things that I have to research. That's why there's a whole field called futurism, or sometimes they call it strategic forecasting. They take a perfect or a near perfect picture of tomorrow, today, for our analysis. So you can plug in to these organizations to know what is to come or what is most likely to come. So you can hedge, you can create your knowledge strategy for what is coming. So if you want to go into tech, learn first of all where tech is going and then position for that. All right. So what I would say, I wouldn't just tell you go into this or go into that. Go and see what these organizations are projecting will be the billion-dollar skills of the future and position for them. Okay.
Wow. Thank you, John. Thank you. So, should I ask you one of my own personal questions?
Hit me. I'm here for you.
Hit me. Somebody say, hit me.
Hit me.
So, John, why did you leave Nigeria? I know you no longer live here.
Yes.
Where did you move to? Why did you move? When did you move?
Yeah, so I moved.
Please just hold on. Just hold on.
Okay.
Officially, WISER 2024 has come to an end. If you want to go, you can go. We're done. This is now my opportunity to juice more out of Daddy J.O. But I'm wondering where you're rushing off to anyway. So, John.
Yeah. Okay. So I left Nigeria in November, on November 11th, 2020, last year. So I've been out of Nigeria for about 1 year and 1 month now, officially. The reason I left was there was a lot more that I needed to achieve that could not be done from within Nigeria. That's just the truth. I mean, I'd done all my great works within Nigeria, and I'd been traveling. So the time I left, I was in Brazil for 40 days. Another time I went back and stayed for 90 days. So I'd experimented with the life and work conditions in other countries, and they're just things I needed to do that couldn't be done from Nigeria. I've never checked my data to see how much data I have left, because here it's unlimited. It's odd for you to have limited data here. It's unlimited. It's fast. It never breaks. It just works. There's just so much that I was using my creativity for that was unnecessary.
Like right? What? Give me practical examples.
Okay. So first of all, I don't have to use my creativity for safety-related matters.
Okay.
Yeah, like I can just decide it's 2 a.m. and I want to go for a walk to clear my head. These are things I like to do. I can't try it in Lagos. I can't. Okay, you might say, okay, depends on where you are in Lagos. All right, but while you say,
but I get you. I get the overall. Yeah. Even depending on even where you are, there still be questions. And if anything happens, somebody say, you didn't know.
You said, why did they work out for by this time?
Why,
that was what they would say.
Yeah, they will ask you. Yeah.
But here, like crime in most areas is almost zero. Crime is almost zero. It's one of the safest places in the world to live, right? Like there's no issue of I'm a young man in Nigeria now driving around my laptop. If police stop me now, what will I say is my alibi? It's unnecessary. Those are just rulers of darkness in high places that just want to retrogress things. Here you don't have those issues. You're not afraid of being robbed either by robbers or policemen or any of that. None of those things exist. If you leave your house and forget to lock your door, you'll be like, nothing will happen. I've done it multiple times and I'm like, nothing will happen. And true, nothing will happen. So there's that, and then there's the infrastructure. I've not heard a generator sound in 1 whole year. And see, if you've not experienced that, you understand what that does for you. I'm actually projecting coming back, to Lagos here sometime in January to do a couple of events. But one thing I'm thinking about is, I've not heard generator sound in 1 year. How will I acclimatize and get back into it? and all the chaos. And when you get into a society that works and is structured, it's way more expensive to live here than in Nigeria, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
It's a
It's a lot
cost
more.
for it.
It's a lot easier. Things I need for my work are available here. I need to buy ring light or this or that. I can easily buy it around. There's Amazon.ae. That's in their warehouses right here in Dubai. So you order for something on Amazon, it gets to you that very day or the next day. When I have to do it from Nigeria, I got to wait like 2 to 3 weeks. But my mates in Tokyo or in South Korea or in London or in New York, they don't have to grapple with all these things. But here I am, smarter than most of my age mates, but I have to be, I remember when I did Head Start Summit. I did Head Start Summit from Lagos. I had like 5 internet connections. People were hailing me that, wow, you guys did Head Start Summit, so fantastic. Y'all don't know what I went through to make that happen from Lagos.
Yeah.
It was a lot, but I made it look easy. But my mates in other places, they don't have to do these things. They don't have to. Everything just works.
So you moved to conserve your energy. So
yes.
I used to be a proponent of, no, we must stay and build, but I've changed that because not everybody's rope and destiny and channel is the same, and not everybody's method is the same. You are changing Nigeria, but you're not here right now.
Yeah. So, and I haven't really left per se. I mean, I will still be coming back from time to time, but I had to move my base to a more efficient environment.
More efficient. Yeah. So I want to speak to someone who is on this call or who will watch the recording later and is thinking of moving, but is feeling guilty. Like, how can I leave when I'm supposed to be building? Right? And some of us have made people feel guilty like that in the past, but we're repenting of it right now. So what can you say to them? What are some things they should check out and prepare for as they decide to leave?
Okay. So let me tell you something now. In this life, there are 2 schools. All right. These schools are not physical. They are ideological. So like when the Apostle Paul said that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. It means that they are not physical. They are largely ideological, they are spiritual, psychological. In the same way, we have 2 schools, psychological schools, the school of the rich and the school of the poor.
Okay.
No offense to everybody listening, but most of us watching here were schooled in the school of the poor.
Yes,
but we don't know.
I agree 100%. Yes.
You will see it on social media. Whenever I see all this, there's some motivational quotes on social media. You know that this is for poor people. They will rejoice and glory in such quotes. Yeah. Whenever you see something on social media that sounds motivational, ask yourself, would Bill Gates be impressed by this quote?
Oh, that's a good question to ask. Okay.
So when you want to post things like, oh, this coming year, I'm leaving behind bad energy, I'm leaving behind bad friends, that's for poor people.
John Solomon.
See, Joyce, it's valid though. It's so valid.
But it's so poor in itself. And I can see the poverty right now. I have never written anything like that in my life, but I didn't link it to a mindset of poverty.
For the fact that exists in your reality, that's a huge question mark. I saw something. Bill Gates is currently worth about $100 and something billion. And he was being interviewed, and Bill Gates said, wow, that this year was very hard for him.
Let me drink my tea. Cheers.
Joyce, it's not even what Bill Gates said that is making me like rant. Come and see the comment section. Poor people. Poor people. And I said at the beginning that poverty is not just say you don't get money, right? Sometimes it manifests as that, but poverty is a sickness of the mind.
Yeah.
That sickness makes it impossible for some people to empathize with rich people. You don't know what it's like for somebody worth over $100 billion to say that, man, this year was a bit tough.
So like yesterday,
people in the comments saying, he's worth over $100 billion and it's hard. Hey, which guy hard with that? Da, 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 da. I mean, I'm just saying it in a colloquial fashion, but
yeah,
it wasn't a Nigerian page, it was an American page because there's poverty everywhere.
Yes.
You could see them in the comments saying, hey, $100 billion to suffer. Sorry,
I told them that I started watching the documentary on Netflix about 3 days ago or so, Inside Bill's Brain, and just to understand how he thinks. So I can understand some of his difficulty. He wants to eradicate polio, right? And that documentary showed how they would go so far. At some point, they had narrowed down. It seemed like polio cases had been eliminated, not eradicated, eliminated in everywhere but Nigeria. So they kept wondering why the cases kept coming up. Some months it would look like there would be such a great decline, and then after a while the cases would just come up. And he sat down thinking. He went on his think week and was checking. That's the 1 week where he goes solo to some cabin somewhere and thinks.
Yes.
And then
think week.
He realized that there were no maps. All the maps of locations, how the inoculation, what do you call them? The vaccinators, ones, right? The vaccinators, the rural vaccinators. All the maps they were using were hand-drawn maps. And what we had in our atlases and co were not viable for today. So he had to get a team of people to use satellite imaging and all to get the real map of Nigeria as is. That was a difficulty. And then as soon as they did that, it was so clear what the problem was. All the new cases were resurfacing at borders between states. So what was the problem? The people in Zamfara state will think that those in Sokoto is a border to, the people in Zamfara will think that those in Sokoto will take care of that border. The people in Sokoto will think that those in Zamfara will take care of that border. So the borders were not being taken care of. But it was a difficult thing to think through, to get through. And then the religious leaders started propagating, don't take the vaccine, they're trying to kill us, they're trying to do this. He now had to come to Nigeria to meet with the emirs, all the leaders, religious leaders in the north. It was a big thing, and to explain to them what the problems were. Then they now said, okay, we will support you. And then to cascade the information down to try and start doing the re-information, that took a chunk. So I can understand you when he will say this year was a difficult year. And this was not, of course, that didn't happen this year. But I can understand how other things were difficult because sometimes the people are not just thinking like you. And it's just so hard. The money is there, but there is no manpower. Or there is no innovation. They were trying to innovate these new... I don't want to keep talking about Bill Gates. I want to talk about you.
Exactly.
You are the one here.
Yeah. So I was relating the Bill Gates thing to how there's a school of the rich and the school of the poor. You know, so you see things on social media that said, we are coming back for everything they said we couldn't have.
Okay.
I see how that can be valid in some realities, but is that a thing that Bill Gates would be inspired by? That's poor.
So, John, let me ask now.
Your question was on immigration, I'm bringing it.
You're bringing yes. Keep going.
But ask. I'll get to it because I think you want to ask.
No, continue. I think it's forming in my head. Keep going.
Okay.
Please.
Right. So I'm just trying to throw some rocks so that something starts to crack. You see some people say things like, 2021 was a rehearsal. 2022.
Rehearsal for what?
Yeah, but it's something that people say all the time to motivate themselves. There's a mindset of kings, right? And most people have not been raised that way, right? So first of all, you have a lot of people that are being educated for wealth by people who are not kings. And so there are all kinds of paradigms. And even when, you hear something that is not in line with the school of the rich, you can't tell because you're not in that school in the first place. The Bible says that he who walks with the wise shall be as wise. There is a school of the wise. There's a school of the rich. Where am I going to? In Nigeria today, when a rich man's child travels abroad, what does everyone, including the poor man, say? Oh, it's good. Exposure. When a poor man's child travels abroad, what do they say? Brain drain. This thing is a psychological stronghold that people don't even know exists. And that is why it's so powerful, because they can't even see it. When the rich man's child goes abroad, they're like, yes, it's for experience. They will take that and they will come back and build it. It's good. And they wish them well. When the poor man's child, who they have to sell land to send abroad, does it, you say, we are Nigeria, we are losing our best minds. See, they're just taking all our best people. Brain drain. Dr. Okafor, that was doctor in UBTH. He has left. Brain drain. We're losing our best people. But when the children of your politicians are going, your brain says, do you see the mental? Bob Marley said it best. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. It's mental
slavery.
I was having a conversation with my mentors a couple of years ago. And we were analyzing that, we're analyzing American businesses, American multinational businesses versus Nigerian businesses, and the difference between global and international. And we said that, why is it that the Nigerian who even leaves his country would go there and cater to Nigerians there?
And not the global.
Exactly. So Nigerian businesses that do that, they're not global, they are international. It means you have cross-border, but you are not global, you are just international, still among your people. But a Bill Gates will start Microsoft, and they're already thinking about who will head their Africa office, who will head their Middle East office, who will head their South Africa office, who will head this, who will head that. They've even broken the world into regions. They have APAC, Asia Pacific. They have EMEA, Europe, Middle East, and Africa. There's another one. They have they have MENA, Middle East and North Africa. They have another one for South America. Like they know how they start creating plans for how to take over these regions. I was reading this book that has a blue star, Startup Nation. I don't know if you know that book.
Yes,
talking about
I know it.
The rise of
the Israelites and the
my
thinking.
goodness.
Written by two gentlemen.
See, our people need to read books. Maybe on your WISER Nation, maybe we can be doing all these book reviews and stuff. People need to get the gist of what's in these books, because you will never see it on news. You know, go Brother Niger. You will never see it on Brother Niger.
John, I just ordered Startup Nation 2 days ago. I read it about 4 years ago. And a few days ago, I was like, Joyce, that information has changed. If you read it now, it will be different. I just ordered it 2 days ago.
They are new every morning.
Yes. I was like, the things I read then, if I read them now, I ordered it.
Oh my.
WISER Nation, guess what? That's going to be one of our books for 2022. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So in that book, I saw something there. So the Israelis, they're a very small country, or very tiny, comparatively.
Yes.
Because they are small in number, they naturally realize that they cannot create businesses for the Israeli market alone and be prosperous. They cannot.
They don't have enough. They don't have enough people.
So when they are starting businesses, they are thinking of the world as a market, not them.
Not them at all.
Intel is
It's
Israeli.
business. Yes.
Many of these other stories. So they're already thinking. So if you are an Israeli and you're telling your grandma or maybe your aunt comes visiting and tell auntie, guess what? We just opened our office in Canada. Only? That's what she'll say to you. Just Canada? Joyce, there's the school of the rich and there's the school of the poor. Our people have been battered psychologically. Jesus Christ said it best. The God of this world has what? Blinded their eyes that they may not see.
So my question now is, I know that we are already on this journey, John, you and I, and many other people trying to emancipate us from mental slavery. What is something else? If we have missed it, or not if we've missed, if it's something that might need mentioning so that anyone who is watching this video can begin to do on their own to move from the school of the poor to the school of the rich.
You have to just start rinsing your brain with the right knowledge.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of things in there. You heard from your parents, you heard from your guardians, from your teachers. Just depending on how you grew up anyway, these are all poor people. And these are things that they will say that sounds great. Nigeria is the only country we have. We have to stay and build our country. The person telling you this has 2 passports, so.
Yeah.
You see, Mike Murdoch said something. Wisdom is the ability to recognize difference.
Okay.
Difference in a countenance, difference in a moment, difference in people. Wisdom is the ability to discriminate between right information and wrong information. Wisdom is the ability to question information that you are given. Are you sure? Is this right?
Yes.
Who is this person that's telling me this thing? Does he live by this?
Okay.
There's some things I wanted to give real life examples in Nigeria, but they have political connotations. But I'll move on. But I'll just leave that alone. I think we've said enough on this.
Give us one, please, John. Give us one. Just one, please.
Okay, I'll be a bit general. There are a couple of. I'll just be a bit general. Okay.
Yeah.
There are a couple of movements that came up pre-2020.
Okay.
Agitations in Nigeria. And those agitations garnered a lot of followers.
Okay.
A lot of followers, a lot of foot soldiers. It was only when law enforcement came for the leaders of the agitations that it became known that the leaders of those agitations had foreign passports.
Okay.
So if anything happened, they had a second country to go to for refuge. But you that is a foot soldier in the movement, you don't even have a Nigerian passport. You've got nothing. And so the first step really is by getting right knowledge. Right? Thank God we talked about wisdom today. By wisdom a house shall be established. Sometimes you have to just tear down the house that has been built. It can't hold it. Just tear it down and start the foundation afresh. All right? Thank God WISER as a community. Break it down and start afresh. Okay, some people are in comments saying we know what you're talking about. Some of you that know, you know who and the actors involved. Break down that house. Jesus Christ talked about the house that was built on sand and the house that was built on the rock. When the wind and the waves came, the one built on the rock could withstand it. So you got to build your house properly on right knowledge. All right. get into where people are talking about the right kinds of things. There's no such thing as jakba. That's a poor man's slang. It's expansion. When God created the earth and said, man, go into the earth and dominate, there were no borders. There was no Nigeria.
Thank God it's Dada I have. Oh, wow.
God didn't say, Adam, go to... No, God said, replenish the earth.
Replenish.
Human beings just bonded together and drew lines in the sand. Even you, Nigeria is the only country that we have. Nigeria was created by the British. You did not even create Nigeria. You didn't even name your own country. What are you talking about? The British people came to conquer black people. They came and saw a place called, there was nothing Nigeria, the southern Nigeria, and in 1914, they amalgamated them for administrative convenience. How will we be handling? Let's put them together so it will be easy to administer. Not much thought was given to homogeneity and common culture. They just put them together. So they have drawn a circle and said, these people found inside these borders we have created shall henceforth be called Nigerians.
Nigeria.
And these Nigerians, these are the privileges that they'll be accorded in the world. These are the limitations they will forever have.
And these documents are there. I've seen some of them. These documents are there.
So you mean a human being like me can sit down and decide what my nationality would be and what the limits and or privileges of that nationality would be globally? I reject that. And when I say that, I don't mean, I'm rejecting my nationality. No. When I say I reject that, I mean I reject to be beholden to that. And so through wisdom and my pursuit of knowledge, I will study to look for ways to escape those limitations.
Break the boundaries. So
I'm studying, what does it take for me to have the same privileges as an American citizen globally? Because anywhere an American citizen is, they'll just say, I'm an American, and they're treated differently instantly. Say you are a Nigerian, and you know the difference. Oh, Nigerians are the most badly treated everywhere. Everybody who has traveled knows that. But not all Nigerians are equal. Some Nigerians have been like, oh, I see. And through knowledge, they've been able to get around it. Oh, there are ways. I give one night school episode called A Life of Options and how to, buy some of these privileges back. All right. Oh my goodness, poverty is a disease. I remember when the news came out that Jay-Z became a billionaire. And I saw one Jay-Z, the rapper.
Okay, Jay-Z, the rapper.
Yeah, Jay-Z became. I remember when it came out, and poor people are the first to comment on Rich Man Matter. I saw one tweet that went out, Jay-Z did not go to school and is a billionaire. School na scam. I was first of all agitated. I mean, I'm in my old age now. I'm in my early 60s, so I'm not as hot-headed as I used to be back then. But then I was heated about this. But I had to educate first. And I said, hold on. First of all, by virtue of Jay-Z being an American citizen, he is not your mate.
He's not your mate. He doesn't have the same rights and privileges like you. Doesn't have the same opportunities as you.
So what are you saying? You are being unpatriotic. You are the brand of Nigeria. I first of all banned and blocked everybody who spoke up. You don't qualify for this conversation. When I had banned everybody, I could now educate the rest that are willing to learn. I said, just imagine that you had money too. Okay, so anyway, so I now have to educate people in my group. And I said, first of all, let's break down Jay-Z's wealth. Maybe I'm not even broken it down. I don't even know what the source of it is. Let's break it down. There are multiple streams, but there's one of them I was particular about, and that was his streaming company called Tidal.
Which
It's
many
like
people didn't even know about.
they didn't even know about.
They just know him as a rapper.
As a rapper, because Tidal doesn't even admit Nigerians, so they don't even know Tidal exists. So there's Spotify, there's Apple Music, so he has his own called Tidal, which is
Tidal.
valued very huge. I think he has even sold a portion of it for some billions again. That guy is a mogul. Anyway, he did not create Tidal. He bought the company from, I think, once a Swedish company. He bought it from, I think, a Swedish company or so. And I read about how the acquisition happened, how I think he went to Sweden and did it. I now asked my people on my group, I said, imagine that you were Jay-Z's competition to buy this company called Tidal, which his advisor told him was a good idea. Imagine his competition. All Jay-Z has to do is take his briefcase, because you don't have these things on the phone. You've got to be there. Take his briefcase, get on a plane, go there, do it and come back. Before they will even give you a Nigerian an interview date at the embassy or the consulate. Don't be fly to an interview dates. You don't go, come back, sell the company, pop champagne, finish, enter Forbes list. You are still waiting for the interview dates so they can answer questions about, are you sure you will come back? Now I don't ask you for embassy. So how do we know you will come back? Do you have land? Are you married? Do you have children? We need proof that you don't overstay. That's just because of your passport. And America doesn't have to answer those questions. Just show them a passport, and based on what that passport represents, they know that, oh, he's okay. The US government, no, we trust. But Nigeria, no. Right? So first of all, he's not your mate. First, it's not for you to have low self-esteem. It's not for you to be angry that, hey, no. That is just the way it is. And I don't have to say I'm sorry or I'm not. I don't know, but that's just the way it is.
There's nothing to be sorry about.
That's just the way it is. Your question now should be like, okay, this is where we are. What can I do to buy myself some more leverage so that if I have this kind of opportunity tomorrow, I'm not held back because of where I'm from? I want to say held back. I don't mean you can't see travel. You go see travel, though. If you can
travel.
Wait. Sure, you've heard how much of backlog US Embassy has in for Nigeria.
I think they said 2024 or something like that now. It's crazy. It's crazy that you get dates for 2024 to go to America next year. You backdate your travel. Yeah.
But these are things that are not, you will never see these things on the news. You will never see it on social media. Unless people like us are talking about these things, people will not even know that these things exist. Right. So, first, to answer the question again, first things first, you have to be in the right circles where these conversations are happening. And I'm not going to blame you. There was a time in my life, too, that I was blissfully ignorant of these things. Yeah. My first trip ever to anywhere in the world was in 2015 when I went to Brazil in September. Right. There were so many things I did not know. Some of the lessons I learned, I can only share with you privately. I won't share it in public here because of the specifics, right? But I learned so many shocking lessons the hard way.
Should go. Everybody, let's end the blind broadcast. John,
I didn't know. Before I left Nigeria, I didn't know what racism was. I didn't know that even South Africa could be racist to Nigerians. I thought, man, you're even blacker than me. Why are you talking? Oh, my friend, adjust your tone. I go school. You understand me? I go school.
And I graduated with a 2-1.
My name is Daddy J.O. in my country. Don't be careful. Take time. I'm very disrespectful, young man. I didn't know those things. I didn't know the realities. So there's so many lessons that I had to learn. And those are just a bit of a negative, but there's so many positive lessons too that I could learn. I learned about some privileges that I could have by just being in certain environments that you can never have on the internet. You can't Google them. But by being there, you are eligible to so many conversations and so many networks. And I've taught a few of these things, but there are so many things that I learned. And then, but what really opened my eyes to the possibilities was a conversation I had with a mentor of mine, Olakule Shoriyo. I remember I'd been traveling abroad for tourism, but I never traveled for work before or to sell my skills or anything. I was content with Lagos. I'm ashamed to say I was content with just being household name
We
in
are not
Lagos.
ashamed
Honestly,
to hear.
I'm ashamed to say. And yeah, because when you look at somebody like me, you would assume, wow, John Obidi must be. But after 20, what year was this that I had this meeting with him? 2018. No, not 2018. 2017. Late 2017. Just when we're having this December 24 meeting now. We had that meeting too in December, like, and to review the year and all that. And again, remember, guys, when I said write down the list of people you will choose to honor. That was a man that the moment I met him, I penned him down. This is a man I'm going to choose to honor. I know they do big man, no, me. Anytime he just called, just blow the whistle, I'll be there. I had my following, I had my people under me too. But when this man blow whistle, I show up there. So one day, late 2017, because he always used to shuttle between Nigeria and the US, he just sent me a message when I said, "Hey John, I'm in Lagos very briefly, I would like us to meet briefly before I leave again." I said, no wahala. I showed up where he was staying late, around 11 p.m. I got in there, so we started talking. He said, "Yes, so this thing you are doing in Nigeria, you are doing really well. You made a name for yourself. A lot of people know you. It's fantastic. But I hope you know that if you've not made an imprint globally, you are still playing small." And me, I don't get pride. I can take it. I can take it from people who have
We
gone.
need to drop pride.
I said, "I hope you know you are still playing small." I said, "Okay." He said, "Have you ever thought of like taking your speaking to other countries and all that?" I said, "No." I said, "Okay. Would you like to?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Okay." He sat me down there, and for 3 hours, he broke down step by step what to do, who to call, where to go, how to position, step for 3 hours. See, what he told me there that night, he has never. He's a renowned public speaker. Everybody knows who Olakole Soyinka is. He has never spoken those things before, ever, on stage. And this man has never written a book. Those things are locked in his head. When he gave me that blueprint, I said, wow. 2018, I had my first international invitation. 2018. Wow. 2018. Because after that conversation, I was like, wow, my head was full. 2018, I had my first all expense paid international speaking. I was invited to the place I've been going to throw money away before, Brazil. They invited me there as a speaker. Like, wow, that was late in the year. I was like, wow. This must be so cool. But the next year, 2019, I had 4.
So, John, are you going to share this information with us in a book that we will buy?
Maybe someday. I don't know.
I'm not smiling. John, I'm not smiling with you. At least now I'll tell you, I'm not your mate. I'm your senior by age. I'm not laughing with you.
See, Joyce, you see, early on in my career, I used to do this freedom fighter thing. Many people who have been following me for years know that I used to have that vibe.
We remember the time.
You do. I had to mature into an understanding of how futile that was.
How so?
Joyce, anybody who has been following me for the past 2 years would realize that I've stopped talking about those deep secrets. I've stopped sharing them. Why? Has anybody watched the movie In Time? That's a movie I love to recommend every single time. Have you seen the movie, Joyce?
They fall into sleep. They go.
No, is that one where they use time?
Oh, they. Oh, is that the one that's In Time?
Yeah, that's In Time.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake. They live their lives by sharing the time on their clock.
Yes.
I even recommended it for a few people here. Yeah.
Beautiful. Do you remember that scene in the movie where the Justin Timberlake character and the girl, that he was doing, Bonnie and Clyde with his girlfriend, where they went to rob a time bank. And when they robbed the time bank, they distributed it to all the poor people. That was supposed to be a very fantastic thing, wasn't it? Everybody had time. But the rulers of darkness, what did they do? You think you have sense? You want to bam bam? You want to chill with the big boys? What did they do? They simply raised cost of living.
Just changed everything. So what you thought you had became valueless.
And so it's a representation of what happens today. And that is why when I was much younger, I used to be angry that people who have these secrets don't share. I used to be very angry about it. But I grew to understand the wisdom in keeping silence. Because when you keep on sharing this on YouTube and everywhere, these people are watching. Oh, you think you're wise. You're telling them secrets of how to cross the third world fence, Sabi. They will build more bricks on top. Continue. They say, oh, there is opportunity here. There's opportunity here. There's opportunity here. They are watching for the numbers that are coming in. When the numbers exceed a certain quota that they are willing to let in, they change the rules.
This is why wisdom says it is the glory of God to conceal a matter. The glory of kings. Kings. He didn't say men. Kings. To search it out.
Exactly. Yeah. So so all this. So before I used to be like, why don't people share the news? Why don't people who know the secrets? They don't share. They don't. I understand why. They are not the umpire. They respect the true umpires, the true architects of the system. So when you learn it for yourself.
Earlier today.
Yeah.
You called it something today. Yeah.
Yeah.
The way things are done, like when you go into where the president is, you don't put your hand in the bucket. They respect the protocol.
Yes. They respect the protocol.
Yeah.
That once you learn certain things, you handle that information with discretion. For wisdom is too high for fools.
John, you've just changed my life because there is something I was supposed to do, and I was about to cast it before swine. Yeah. So
it was a tough decision, though. It was a tough decision. I used to share all those things. People should take this information. First of all, most of the people that I share these things with, they aren't even empowered to even act on the information. And because it's now out there, you've endangered that information because just give that information 1 month to become obsolete. And even that one that you were managing before, you can't use it anymore because they've casted it. It's gone.
They're two different things. It's not hoarding information. It's being discreet with information. They're two.
And that is why it's important. Oh my goodness. Oh my. See, you people should look for Joyce's account number and give her offering for this this WISER series.
003902695 GTP.
Quickly, there are things that I shared here today that I've not even shared on night school before. It's just and it's because you architected WISER to be Proverbs. So whenever I'm reading Bible word for word, I go into a very different dimension of teaching because I know that I'm not teaching to secular audiences. I go real deeper. So there are things that I've shared that I wouldn't normally share on night school because it's a more secular audience, right? I said here earlier on, I told you guys not just to listen, but to write it down. Make a note of who you will honor. Make a note of the kings that you will honor. Because every environment has a king. And what are kings known for? They're known for two things. Not just wealth. Knowledge.
Knowledge, wisdom.
They know what is in the forest. You see, every kingdom has a book of chronicles. That is what the king of Persia was reading when he realized that Mordecai honored him or saved his life. He never knew. So there are people who write down the history of the kingdom, and those history books are kept in the care of the king. So the king knows the history. Right from when he's a boy, the kings know secrets. And it is when you show honor to these kings, they will share secrets with you. A lot of things I know, I will probably have lived my life to 50 years old, 60 years old, and I never known. Or maybe I would have known eventually with hard experience and decades of toil. But with honor, the king will say, okay, you are doing this in this way. I hope you don't know there's a better way. You are flying with this airline. I hope you know that this other airline also goes and will save you time and money.
Save you time and money.
You are going with economy. If you ask for money, I can get you a business class ticket. So we have one insider deal, like one insider club that gives us access to this. And this is a real. This is actually real.
Yes, they're real because I've experienced it. They're real.
You're going to UK economy. We have this club that gives us, almost half price for business class.
I stay at the Hilton in Lagos, in Abuja, almost every time I'm in Abuja because someone exposed something to me and said, just let me know and we'll make sure you get our deal.
And that thing that contains that deal you got is not in any book.
It's not in a book. It's not written anywhere. And that person was a speaker at WISER last year. I was like, I can do this for you. For what you do for humanity, I can do this for you. I'll put you in.
Exactly. All right. So that's why I said, be very, know who you will honor. I like what Money Magnet said. He said, honor is a seed for access. Know who you will honor. Which verse was it where he talked about, I'm scrolling through that Proverbs 24. Talked about people that, it says, Proverbs 24:21, it says, fear the king, fear the Lord and the king, my son, and do not join with rebellious officials. See, be very careful. Fear the Lord and the king, my son, and do not join with rebellious officials. What do we mean by rebellious officials? There are people who just do not have honor and regard for authority. So you see people that will say, oh, because your pastor said, and the attitude is with such disdain for authority, such disregard. If you allow yourself to be swayed by such people, you will ruin yourself. Or people will say, I beg you, it's not by mentor, I beg. Stop chasing mentors. Now, they may be merit in what they are saying, but the spirit from where that is coming from will wreck you.
The how, where it's coming from. Yes.
I beg, the way I live my life, I don't like to chase people. I don't all these people all these mentors. You DM them, they'll not answer you. Hey, I don't know how to chase people. I just want to beg. It's not by like that. You see, who God be blessed, I beg. Not be saying I lie, but that spirit
is a poor spirit. That's poor in mind, spirit. Poor in heart.
Poor spirit. You will rob yourself of results. You will rob yourself of so many secrets that are not in books. They are not on YouTube. They are not on television. The toil of a fool wearies him out, for he knows not how to enter a city.
To the city.
Right?
So, John, because of time, I'm just going to still come back to this question of migration. And it is because you have made it clear that moving to another country is not escapism. It is efficiency to increase effectiveness.
You are just going back to Genesis 1. And what I'm going to say to you, I'll give full credit to a person I heard it from the first time, Olakole Shorio. He said that when you travel abroad, it's not a testimony. You are simply going back to the Genesis condition. When God said, go into the world and replenish the earth.
Yes.
You are simply going back to what was supposed to be normal. There were no visas. God did not create visas, did not create borders. Human beings.
I've never heard it like this before. I've never heard it like this before.
Human beings did that. God told Abraham, leave your father's house. And just the waka they go. When you reach, I'll tell you. Just waka they go. That's the JO translation. Leave your father's house and just be going. When you reach where they go, I will tell you. Waka they go. Go. When you reach there, I will tell you.
They go.
So when you say, oh my, wait, see, Joyce, see, when we say this thing all the time that Where did we come from? Let me come from this area. Where did we come from? I mean, most of us here are faith-based, I think. So, we say these things, but the way we act in life shows that we don't really believe these things. We just have to quote it because we're in church. Where did we really come from? Do you really believe that, you came from God to earth? Now, when they created you, did they name your spirit nationality with a nationality? So where are you really from? Yes, because I had to be born of a woman. God doesn't make man from the dust of the earth anymore. He doesn't make woman from rib anymore. We all have to be born through a womb. And due to the genetic conditions of that womb, it dictates our physical characteristics, what kind of eye we have, what kind of lips we have, the skin color, our hair texture, and other physical characteristics. And minus the genetic characteristics, the geographical boundaries within which we landed on Earth defines us in a way based on the wisdom of this world. But where did we really come from? To help you understand this, I'll go back to somewhere in the New Testament. I believe that one of the biggest identity crises that Jesus Christ ever faced was being so acutely aware of where he came from and having to juxtapose that with where he was. Those two worlds. Always, sometimes being maybe forgetful of where he was operating at every given point in time. There was a time that, as a child, his parents went to, I think, the temple, and he went missing.
At age 12.
And they came and said, don't you know that we've been looking for you? And he answered, didn't you know? The thing that we've quoted that verse too many times that we'll become too familiar with it. Who says that kind of thing? What was he thinking? Is he delusional? It was not natural for people to call God their father in those times. Nobody did that. God was a deity that strikes with thunder and brings, some kind of judgment.
True.
Ground will
Yes.
open and people will enter. Nobody. Who says that at 12 years old? If a man says that, you can understand, okay, maybe he learned it somewhere. Maybe he learned it somewhere. Maybe he was indoctrinated. But the child at 12 is saying, who says that? And then when he became a man, much later, he was somewhere with his disciples. And people came and said, Jesus, your mother and your brothers are here to see you.
I'm here to see you.
I felt like, I'm actually on earth, and on earth we have things they call mother, brother. All right, that's what they mean. That's probably what they mean. And then he had to explain. You all don't understand. My mother, my brothers, and so on and so forth are those that what he didn't say this, but I'll explain it. Are those that I am joined with in purpose. All these genetic ties, they are human constructs. That's why when they asked Jesus Christ, say this woman, she had 7 husbands while she was alive. When she goes to heaven, who will be her husband? Who told you there's husband and wife? Right? Those are all human constructs. So there's a post I made of them. I said, my body was made in Nigeria. My spirit was not. So if you say really that you are a spirit having a human experience, where are you from? I have to say I'm from Nigeria because I have to deal with certain things. I have to answer that question on forms. I have to identify as that in this human realm. But mentally, I know that the earth is the Lord's and the earth is mine. Wherever the soles of my feet shall tread, I shall possess. I know that I can go anywhere. Of course, because I'm operating in my human form, I am restricted by borders and immigration officials. But by wisdom, a house is established. I was reading history and I looked at the Rothschilds. How many of you have heard about the Rothschilds, the wealthiest families? And I had to read about their origins. How did they start? I was embarrassed. And you'll see why I was embarrassed. Because if you Google the Rothschilds today, it's mostly in conspiracy theories. They control the world. They do this. The world is. I said, these people, let me know where they started. Who
They
is
belong
the
to what?
origin?
That fraternity.
Illuminati and all these things.
Illuminati, yeah.
You know, hey God, see, knowledge is important too. Joyce, be doing book reviews for your people. These people have to learn.
I promise we will. I've played with the idea. You've just helped me crystallize it. I promise we will. At least 4 books.
When I read up their history, I realized that it's not just even about the Rothschild. There was one man, Mayor Rothschild, the patriarch of the family. He was Jewish. Not just Jewish. He was a German Jew at a time when the Holocaust was happening. This man, along with all the Jews, this was a time when Jews were packed into ghettos. As in, Jews were discriminated. It was a crime to be a Jew in those times.
A death sentence.
They were packed into ghettos, and so it was difficult. So why I say I was embarrassed is that his conditions at the time is very similar to being a Nigerian right now. So how did he figure it out? What did he do? That's why I went to go and read up that history. They were the most despised race of people at the time. It's not just, oh, you can't travel. No, see, Jews were packed into ghettos. This is where people are supposed to live in this country. They packed them there. You can't live in other places. This is where you're supposed to live. But in that ghetto, his mind was global. This man created a family creed. Just Google Rothschild family creed.
Family creed.
3 words. Concordia, Integritas, Industria. Concordia, Integritas, Industria. It's on their family seal. What does it mean? Concordia means harmony. Integritas means integrity. Industrias means industry. That is hard work, diligence. So he raised his children, indoctrinating them with this family creed. From being the most despised race of people, this guy rose to become not just the richest in the country, Germany, but the richest family in the world. And when he died, he gave his children this charge. And he wasn't the richest. I don't think he was the richest in the world when he died, but because he trained his children to carry on, his children, they became so good at this that they became the wealthiest family in the world. They were loaning money to nations.
Yes.
How they rose. And he wrote it in his will that any of his children who deviates from that creed should be written out of the will. So he wrote it down. Anybody, those 3 things, Concordia, I said, I think he had 5 sons. You guys must never fight. You must never, anybody who tries to cause division should be written out of my will. And through prudence, through diligence, through being witty, my goodness, they became the most powerful family in the world. From the most despised race to the most powerful family. There was this time when there was a civil war happening. That was when, because during that Holocaust period, there was, not civil war, sorry, World War II. Because the Holocaust, World War II, they happened within the same time. World War II was what liberated the Jews, right? But during that time, Germany was, through hard work and being very trustworthy, he was being elevated in the ranks. And there was a time that one of the wealthiest people in Germany had to flee the country. You had to flee the country. And because Rothschild was a very honest person, he handed over his estate to Mayor Rothschild and said, please, take care of it for me. I have to run or they will kill me when the opposing forces come in. But they will not kill you because you're not a threat to anybody. So he handed over his entire wealth to this guy. This guy has served for years, honestly, diligently. They didn't care that he was a Jew. They only cared that he was very diligent. Now, This guy had run into exile and gave Mayor Rothschild his wealth to handle. He could afford to just own the whole thing because he can't come back. But no, he was a steward of this guy's estate. And because of that, he could use the capital in that estate to do more business deals and become wealthier. That's how he became a lot wealthier. But he was always sending updates to this guy that fled the country. This is how I'm using it. What he did, he actually sent one of his sons to go and stay with him as assurance that nothing will happen to your money. Don't worry. Everything is well taken care of. And this guy accounted for every penny. Concordia, Integritas, Integrity, Industrias. And that singular decision to be trustworthy in a circumstance where he did not have to be was what blew him up. Well, one of the things that blew him up. There's so many more things in the story. All right. So I had to, so from there, his children now spread out. So he took one of the kids, went to New York, set up an office. One went to the London office. One went to the France office, and how they spread out throughout the world and became a global powerhouse. In Nigeria, now come and tell me I have to stay here and build. What are you talking about? Poor people. It's not as if it is a wrong idea.
But it's faulty.
It's faulty. These people, they were not trying to be building one country. And guess what? Mayor Rothschild was a philanthropist. He was known as that. His funeral was so heavily attended. He gave heavily to the Jewish community. He gave back so well, but he spread out throughout the world and used a lot of that wealth he sucked in from the world to help his people, his fellow Jews, helps them. It's only a poor man that thinks that is by staying here inside suffer, that's the way to help Nigeria. No, go and spread your wings and fly. The Bible says that if a blind man follows a blind man, they will both fall into a ditch.
They will fall into the ditch, both of them. So
what do you really
some
have?
people are actually really going to spread their wings, John. 2 or 3
Olakule
things.
will say that is somebody that is well that can donate blood.
It's true. If you're not well, you can't. 2 or 3 things that they must do, John. 2 or 3 things that they must do if they're going to spread these wings. 2, 3 things, practical things that they must look at and do now.
Okay. Well, first thing is, so if you check my YouTube channel, look for there's this 2-part series I did on my YouTube channel. I can't remember what it was called. I talked about something like this. But anyway,
Mechanic, I know you're already going to his channel to go and look for it now. Yeah,
there are 2 videos. There's a part 1 and part 2 of this thing that I did. But first of all, really for those of you who are still young, those of you who are still in school or have just graduated, figure out where you want to be, what piece of the cake you want to eat globally. All right, figure out what you want to do, where you want to go, what you need to do to achieve it. All right, our teachers will tell us, you people are the leaders. You people are you are the leaders of tomorrow. You are the leaders of Nigeria. No, they'll say you are the future of Nigeria. That's brainwashing. You are the future, period. You decide what you are the future of. So you are the future of engineering. You are the future of finance, banking. You are the future of computing. And then you figure out where in the world you can become that future. Okonjo-Iweala, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, became the DG of the WTO. Poor people, again. Yes, if she could do it, we can. Thank you, Utibe. That's it. Personal sovereignty, part 1 and 2. Check my YouTube channel. Poor people again came and say, yes, if she could do it, we can. We can. I'm like, I have to go and post on my group. You're all getting motivational. How many of you have gone to even browse through her Wikipedia page?
Her Wikipedia page. I saw that your post.
Have you got this woman was not playing, She lived her life intentionally. It was only after that we knew that she was a US citizen. Many people don't even know now. It was when the US consulate was congratulating her that many people knew, I thought you were one of us. She's one of us, yes, but
she's a global citizen.
exactly. This woman had a top job in the World Bank way before she came to serve
In
as a
Nigeria. It's
minister.
because of that we brought her.
She did not need Nigeria. Nigeria was begging her.
Nigeria needed her.
She served 3 presidents, 3 administrations: Obasanjo, Yaradua, Goodluck Jonathan.
Yeah.
Right? She lived her life strategically. She knew where, from her choice of universities, she wasn't doing, I have to stay here and build, so let me go to OAU Ife. This woman knew where she was going. She knew where she wanted to raise her kids. She knew what kind of job she wanted. She knew what kind of education she would need to get for where she was going. She knew what kind of network she needed. She knew what kind of passports she needed. So this poor man that would say, if I have only Nigerian passport, it means that I'm patriotic. So that's why I say don't let anybody pigeonhole you and say, you are the future of Nigeria or you are the future of Ghana. No, you are the future. You decide what you are the future of. And through study, through counsel, through continuous improvement, you can figure out where you stand. I hate it when poor Nigerians, say things, there are no jobs. There are no jobs where? Because somehow somebody has told you that the map of the world is Nigeria. Have you ever conceived in your heart that I think I can actually apply for a job at Facebook in Ireland, even though I live in Nigeria? People don't know it's possible. And so you are making the limitations of your locality your limitations globally, but no. All right, so you are the future, but you will decide what you are the future of. Where do I fit in? Start Googling, start researching. And for those of you who are making money here, and maybe you are a bit more prosperous, you've got money, travel. There's this thing I used to do when I was learning, the map of the world properly, right? Before I travel to a place, I will go to this website called Eventbrite. And Eventbrite is an events website that shows you events happening all over the world. And I would look for industry events that are happening around the period, anytime soon. And I would I usually make my trip coincide with when that event will be happening. Joyce, most of those events are free. Most of them are free. And the networks you will get, the information you will get, most of them are free. And the most expensive one on Eventbrite, then I don't know about now. I don't really do it as much because I'm here. Most of those events, the most costly ones were like $99. If you can afford to travel somewhere, you can afford to pay like $9 and attend now. I'll pay like $9 na VIP, na VIP tickets. You will attend, you will network. That's one. And then another one is joining certain global international organizations. Okay, if you are young, I don't know, there's an age limit for this one. It's called what's the name? They are a youth wing of the World Economic Forum.
Global Shapers.
Thank you. All right. Global Shapers, for example, join those things that begin to shape on your mind for global impact. Okay, when we say global impact, it doesn't mean posting on Facebook. Global impact means you can be there. Like CNN will say, be there. All right. Join organizations like Global Shapers. There's one other one for campus people called Enactors. Right. And me, Seth, I couldn't join Global Shapers. The year one of my mentors told me to join Global Shapers, I had already passed the age.
Yeah, just crossed 35.
It didn't pay me. No, it was. I think the age limit was 28 or so. It was that year I was turning 28.
Okay.
It didn't pay me. So, and there are others like that. There's another one too called Internations. Internations is so good. But it's mostly is not for you to join the Nigerian Internations. Internations is for expatriates. So it's for you to sign up to Internations when you travel. Because they want expatriates, not natives. Right? So maybe you're traveling to Dubai, or you're traveling to South Africa, or the US, wherever, you join Internations of the country you are traveling to, and you join as an expatriate. Otherwise, they will decline your application if you are a native trying to. So it's an expatriate community. All right. I keep on saying expatriate because the word is expat, but many Nigerians would think I'm saying expert. So I have to say the whole thing.
Expatriate. Expatriate.
Yeah, expatriate. Yeah. So it's an expat community. My goodness. When I was in Brazil in 2019, but I knew about Internations from an event. I did an event in Lagos before I traveled to Brazil. And one of the speakers at my event that I invited, his name is Olushola Amuso. When he was at my event, he was talking about how to join global communities. And while he was speaking, I was making my notes. So when I traveled to Brazil, I was like, hey, let me check out my notes again. Internations. And I Googled it. Went to their website. I signed up. It's free to sign up. They'll ask for your passport's data page to know where you are from. And they'll ask you to put your statement of intent. So I typed and all that. In less than 24 hours, I was approved. And I could log in and see where the events were happening. And I attended. Free to attend. I got there. I met movers and shakers in Microsoft, Dell, HP, people that you just can't run into on the street easily. You are meeting nobody's talking business. Everybody's chilling and talking about their love for badminton and hockey and water sports
and cricket.
And they're just gisting, and if that's your first time, you'll be like, so these are some shortcuts, so like I like to say, don't just travel to go and snap picture with camel. When I was a child, I thought as a child, I spoke as a child,
like a child.
But when I became a man, I put aside childish things. So I'm saying that to say this, that when I was much younger too, when I knew to get sense, I did those things. I would travel. I didn't know what was possible, within the time of my trip. All right. So I would do the same things that a regular, tourist would do. Just go and take pictures, you go and shop, but you don't know that you can use that to build power internationally and gain a wider perspective and gain more opportunities for yourself. All right. So when people come and they get some opportunities internationally and they come and post on social media, and people say, oh, I just want to thank God. I know say it's God, and it's not God that did it too, but there are things that go on behind the scenes. And
I just want to thank God, and these are the 5 things I did.
Exactly.
I want to thank God for showing me these 16 things that I did over the last 4 years.
Thank you. That's a better blog post. Yeah. So these are a few things that I did that really helped me. But the number one thing I would say is just being around the right people, because this thing I'm telling you guys is not in any book. It's people that told me. The right people. This one will tell me this. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try. This one will tell me I'll try. And I began to build, because I didn't come from a wealthy family. I didn't come from a rich family, right? So there are things that they learned. Like some of my friends grew up wealthy. There's some things that that were common knowledge in their households that were not common knowledge in my household. I had to learn on the streets. Am I befriending them? And they taught me a lot of these things. A lot of my present-day refinements came from people I chose to befriend, and they taught me these things. They showed me how to do this, how to do that were totally alien to me. And I can only thank God for that. Okay, so again, he that walks with the wise shall be as wise. The number one thing I'll attribute a lot of this knowledge to is just the right people. Because I can't say go and read this book or that book. Even if there's a book, it's somebody that will tell you what the book is that you go and read. You will probably never know that the book exists, because most of the books that are the most valuable, they are not bestsellers. You don't know who the authors are. Like you rightly quoted, it is the glory of God to conceal a matter, but the honor of kings to search it out. The best books, you don't know the titles, you don't know the authors. They are not the bestsellers. Somebody who has been to that depth of knowledge, have you read this book? Try it out. Have you seen this Netflix show? Try it out. You mentioned Inside Bill's Brain. Maybe people here don't know that kind of thing exists, but we all know Money Heist. So people, the gift of people, very important.
John, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to ask this question just because the
That's
person
how
who asked.
we went beyond Proverbs today.
You see, the theme is unraveling wisdom for 2022. Initially,
Yeah,
last year, we made it unraveling the wisdom of Solomon, but this year we
yeah.
changed it because
Mm-hmm.
John Obidi has wisdom to share as well. Patrick
Thank
has
you.
wisdom. George Spieth has wisdom, right?
Thank you.
So we want to build on the foundation that Solomon has given
Mm.
and we have also explored. So we're still 100% on the mission, wisdom for the next year. John, my page is full, but you see, I'm only writing the things I'm doing. There are many things you said, but I'm not writing
Yeah.
all. I'm writing the ones I am doing. I'm going to ask you this question because the person who sent the question to me has been a blessing to my life this 1 year, and I want to honor her too by asking this question. Please, I say at Wiser Nation and all other platforms, when you meet someone like John, please don't ask questions that Google can answer. No, that's like a waste of our time and energy. Don't. I've seen some people write, and I'm sorry that it might seem harsh, but at the same time, I'm not sorry. You know, somebody recommended a book, and you say, "How do I find the book?" I'm like, "Can I just knock your head for asking that question?" Google can just copy what they've written, paste it on Google and say book. What was the book? They said something honor reward. Just write honor reward book on Google and it will come out and you buy. Stop looking for free book, free download PDF, free. Oh, can you share with me your own? That's the poverty that we are being liberated from. But I'm going to ask the question. I kind of feel like the answer is in the question, but I would ask it. For those who understand that they have a purpose to help bring Nigeria at par with the rest of the world, what can they do to stay sane? Then she said, yes, I know, stay within the wealthy people's school, right? How does Nigeria not just drown you?
Okay. Well, to answer that question, I will just answer the way I answered that question within myself and for my own journey, because that's a question I had to answer for myself. So here's the thing: I had to make a difference between Nigeria and Nigerians. Two very separate entities that are sometimes confused one for another. The entity called Nigeria is not quite sure what it wants to be yet. And that part of it is out of my control. You know, those who are in control of what Nigeria is, you know, they are well known. And in their own time, they will decide what Nigeria is going to be. However, there's a separate entity called Nigerians. People who were born within this geographical expression. It is easier to help Nigerians than to help Nigeria. Two very different things. Nigerians are the people that are here. Nancy Ogwe, Tehila David, Augustine, long surname, Temitokwe Hajibola, Ikechukwu Uchidiono. These are Nigerians. Yeah? And these are Nigerians who have dreams and aspirations. The people of whom it was written before you were conceived in your mother's womb, I knew you. People who have a dream. Sako also, sir. Mr. Sako. Sako is my cousin from my village, from Ibuzo. Spirit of Sako. Good to see you here, sir.
For real?
Right? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He has dual nationality. Yoruba and Ibuzo. Yeah. Sako is my cousin. Yeah. So yeah, these are all Nigerians who have a purpose. And so when you say that, okay, I want to help Nigerians, now that makes sense. That makes your purpose clearer.
It changes your energy. In fact, it has changed my energy right now.
Yes. So I'm not looking at this block, because that block is very complex. This thing was here before you were born. And there are things that have been done in to this entity that are just, it's not by positive confessions. So Nigeria is not what you think it is. It's a lot of things that are too complex for this conversation. But Nigerians, they're individuals, human beings that are locked in struggles that you are familiar with, and sometimes struggles that you have conquered yourself, and you can help them with. What was that verse in Proverbs 24 that we saw about someone who is staggering towards something? Let me scroll and find it. Yes, it is Proverbs 24 verse 11. Okay, if you just share my screen again and it will just show. There it is. It says, rescue those being led away to death. But I like the second part. It says, hold back those staggering towards slaughter. I like the last part. It says, hold back those that are staggering. If someone is staggering towards slaughter, it means that it's not intentional. They did not say, nobody says, it is my intention to be useless in this life. I want to be useless. Nobody said I want to just be useless. No, they are staggering. They don't know. It's an involuntary action. All right. So it says, when you see people who are staggering towards slaughter, who are staggering towards the prospect of an unlived life, who are staggering towards the prospect of unused potential, who are staggering towards a wasted youth, it says what? Hold them back. Right. So when you think of it in this way, that you are helping Nigerians in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, wherever, it is easier for you not to just abandon ship. Nigeria is complex, so you see people here, Northern agenda, Southern agenda, this one, that it is a lot. You were not born when the problems were created. That doesn't mean that you can't have solutions, but because I'm answering your question, because there are people who, when they contemplate the enormity of the problem, they're like, I beg you, as for me and my house, let me just do my own family, you know. But when you are able to understand that, hold on, Nigeria might be a thing on itself, but Nigerians, right? When Moses was leading the Israelites out of Egypt, there wasn't really a thing called Israel. They were just Israelites. They were just Israelites. It was when he had led them out that they now formed some sort of nation, created the 10 Commandments and some sort of legislation for how they would organize themselves and move forward. That was the template for future kings and so on, all those commandments and so on. All right. But we're just handing them one Israelite at a time. All right. So right now, you don't have to get paralyzed by it, because if you're always watching the news, seeing what's happening, it might make you lose hope. Right? And that's why some people just say, let me just go to Canada. And it's not bad to do those things. But if you are one of those people who has a burden for people and a burden for Nigeria, understand that you can still carry it out when you are thinking of Nigerians. So when you're organizing your events, when you're organizing like WISER, for example, you're organizing your events, you are thinking of people. These people have names and identities individually. That is the paradigm to look at. How can I help Chidi Benjamin to achieve his purpose? He's located here and there. How can I help him achieve his purpose? What are the 5 things I can tell him? How can I help Leslie in Wisagbo? How can I help Nweze Thesia? The Nigerians. So don't lose hope. You are trying to change Nigeria. Focus on changing Nigerians.
Nigerians. Thank you, John.
Yes.
Thank you. Chinwe, you're changing Nigerians at OAU.
Nigerians will come back and tell you thank you. They'll come back and pay you offering. Nigeria might not remember you.
May not remember you.
How many pensioners have died without receiving their money, their entitlements? Yeah. How many Olympic heroes were not given the lands they were promised? Nigeria is complex, but focus on Nigerians.
Nigerian.
Yes, they will reward you. Somebody, I'm selling tickets to my crossover service. One person that bought a ticket said, "Please, I know you gave me." She said, "I know you put out a Paystack link for us to buy tickets for your crossover events, but the Paystack link doesn't allow us to add extra. Can you please send me account details because your posts this year changed my life?" I'm like, okay.
There you go.
Nigeria will not do that for you unless you have connection. But Nigerians will do that for you.
Nigerians will do that.
Exactly. Yeah. Contrary to what people think, Nigerians are not ungrateful people, though.
They are very giving. They are very appreciative. I've seen it,
Nigerians
John.
are very appreciative, but you've got to be able to separate the entity called Nigeria from the people Nigerians. They are very different people. So it's happening for Davido's birthday now. Would anybody have thought?
You know, I put up my account number. Some money has come in, John. Some money has come in. I think I should just type it and put it again.
Exactly. I put it there.
That's not poverty mentality, right?
No, it's not. It's not. I will receive. I'm giving you an opportunity to soar into greatness. I'm helping you.
From making this happen, John, what's your own account number? Let me put it down. No, because
this one is for you. Put it there. This is for WISER. This is for the WISER Ministry International.
John, thank you. I think we've taken enough to take action for today. Anything above this might be tipping. Guys, take action. Take action. Someone wrote here that she was dropping off because her battery was less than something percent, and so she'll watch later. And the first question that crossed my mind is, why don't you power? And then I quickly went to Google MTN solar box because that's the one I know. But I also know that there might be other solutions, but that's the one I know. And that's why I'm writing about that. And I'm saying this because there are over 200 people who may just get this knowledge.
Yeah.
I used it for my parents for some time. It's called the MTN, I think, Lumos box. Well, call it a solar box. You pay about 28,000 for the initial pack. It's a small box that looks like a stabilizer, maybe slightly bigger than that. They bring the box to you and install the solar panel. It comes with a bulb. It comes with a charging kit, blocks, where you can plug things, power outlets, sockets, Lumos box. And so you can use it to power a house, depending on what is in the house, but you can just power your room. Then we powered my parents' bedroom with it. So there was always power there. They could charge everything, and then you pay a monthly installment, a monthly what do you call it?
I mean, you paid installments.
Subscription, a monthly subscription.
Okay, gotcha.
At 5,000 naira. Kingsley, I think you use this, and I know Israel uses this. Monthly subscription of 5,000, and after about 2-3 years, it becomes yours. You stop paying. After about 2 years, the box becomes yours. They cut you off. So what you're paying is actually you're paying for that installation, just that they've broken it down into monthly payments. So 30,000. I don't care what you do. If you're on this call, 30,000 is not too much for you to raise to get your Lumos box, so that you will never again say things like, oh, my battery is running out. No, the one thing I'm taking out from here is we can't continue to just think about the challenges in our space, but what are the solutions? So let's start rinsing our brains even more. Search solutions. And when you find the solution, tell people about it, depending on what the solution is. Some should be discreet. Some, like this, should be told everybody, please, it's out there, go and get it. And so that you don't waste our time and tell us that you Never again. 2022 living should never find you saying, I had no lights, and so I couldn't charge my laptop. That's one thing you will never say, no matter where you live in Nigeria again. No. For 2022 is done. You suffered it in 2021. It's over. Take that from WISER, amongst all the other amazing things that we've gotten here today. John, I bless the day I met you. And I just bless God for who you are. And I thank you for all the work that you have done mentally to be able to generate this. I was listening again to a program I'm a part of. I'm a part of a school of politics, policy, and governance right now, the initiative of Obieze Kwesili. It's an intense session. We have 3 hours of classes every day, 5 days a week, right? And one of the things that was said by the VC on our first or second class was, when you give yourself to such studying, which I know your brain changes, you actually create new neurons. The more you study, your brain will create new neurons. So you are not the same person. So she was saying, don't run away from the work. We're going to give you work. We'll give you book studies. We'll give you things that will stretch you. Your life literally will not be the same because even your body will change. By the time you do a brain scan now and a brain scan after 8 months, it will not be the same. Your brain will grow, and that information will help your whole life change. So, John, you've committed to growing your brain. You've done work. Thank you. Thank you so much. For all of us who are benefiting from this, thank you so much. Everyone,
thank you.
They've been saying the thank you since. Now go and look for other ways to thank him in ways that are not THANKYOU.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you so much for organizing WISER too. I mean, it's helping a lot of people, and it's filling a need. A lot of times people don't know what they need until they see it. And now they've seen what, and they're just drinking all this in. They're like, oh my goodness, where have I been? So thank you for plugging that and for standing in the gap. I think that for those of us who are fulfilling this mandate of Proverbs 24:11, rescue those being led away to death, hold back those staggering towards slaughter, and not just holding back your knowledge for yourself and your wisdom and your experiences to yourself, but you're giving back and you're showing people the way in ways that they would have never figured out on their own. I think that it's such noble work. And I want to really thank you for doing this. I've been diligent at it. I mean, this is 24 days straight, 7 days left in for WISER 2021. And wow, you've done so good. Thank you so much. Great
and
job,
I commit by the grace of God, we'll do this. This is my life's. This is the one thing I'm sure I'm committing to. Well, amongst a few others, for the rest of my life. Every December we'll be here, and then we'll have the rest of it. Thank you, John. I don't feel like ending, but we have to go. I feel like asking you like 2 more questions, but no, that's okay. I think that will now be abusing the privilege of your time. Thank you for the privilege.
I'm here for you anytime.
I know, John, and I love you so much. Thank you so much. Everyone, say bye-bye to John. Don't ask us here how to access crossover with John. Nancy, are you serious? You asked such a question? Okay, John, how do we get crossover with John?
Crossover. Just go to what's the URL? Go to so let me just type it in the comments.
Yes,
it's
please.
HSA.to /crossover. I'm going to be having Olakunle Shorinyo on that crossover. Olakunle Shorinyo and Yetunde Bankole Bernard. And we are going to be forecasting and strategizing together at that event for the new year. Just the 3 of us on it. Let me type it with the HTTP. There it is. So you can copy and click through. So that's it. So it's for 2 days, 29th and 30th of this month. Olakunle Shorinyo, we do this every single year. Olakunle Shorinyo, I invited him for last year's crossover. It was powerful. It was private on Zoom. I brought him back for this session. He will handle about 4 hours with us, unpacking what we need to be doing. Because I don't want to hoard him. I haven't learned so much from him. I'm bringing him to share him with us there. So he'll be with us there for about 4 hours. Yetunde Bakule Bernard will give us about 4 hours, and then I will give about 6 hours of my time, giving us step by step what we need to do to position ourselves for the new year. 2022 is going to be a year of rapid expansion, accelerated promotion for a lot of people. I'm forecasting that 2022 is going to be the year of the self-made public figure. The year of the
and this is not a prophecy. This is clear action steps.
Forecasting, yes. It's not motivation.
John, I haven't seen the link here. I haven't seen the link here.
Oh, I've been posting it in the general comment section. Oh. So you can just click on. Okay, I'll do it again so that you can spotlight.
Abi, what name are you using? It's not John Obidi.
Not John Obidi.
Never see him.
Okay, so just check the comments. You should.
No, I haven't seen it still.
You haven't. Okay, so let me send it to the private chat then.
Okay, please, and then I'll copy and paste it here.
I'll put it on the private chat.
Yes, I've seen it. Thank you.
Okay.
And let me copy and put it here. I don't know why it's not showing. Okay, guys, I've posted it, and I will see you all at crossover because I'll be there myself.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
So yeah, so that crossover is 2 days. Normally it's 1 day, but one do it 2 days, and it's not on 31st night, so that you can go do whatever you planned. You like church. So our crossover nights are 2 days, 2 nights, 29th, 6 p.m. to 11:59, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. And then 30th again, 6 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Fantastic.
5 hours each.
Only. Only your brain will grow. Only.
Yes.
Thank you, John. I know you are very relaxed. You can pull you a 6 hour on this.
I was born for this.
You're born for this. Thank you so much, everyone. See you at crossover tomorrow morning. We are here again at WISER. I will be taking the session tomorrow. On 27th, we have Kafi, Dr. Kafi, the dancer. These are people who have some wisdom we need to explore. The wisdom is not written in a book. And we might just spring on us one surprise WISER head before the end of the year. We just might spring on us one surprise WISER head. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for taking yourselves seriously enough to grow. At the end of 2022, when we gather at WISER 2022, maybe we'll start the first 2 days with testimonies. But of course, we'll be in the WISER community as well, seeing each other grow. I love you all. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Today, we're just ending. No suffix. No suffix. No, what's the word? End quote. Goodbye. Have a great day. See you again. Thank you, Jo. Bye.